Good evening, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. Golly geez, I love that timing, Moose. I think we're getting this together. Hey, tonight, Saturday night salad toss. It's a play on words from last night. It was something brought up last night. And for those who are joining right now and later, if you happen to see the stream last night, it was a little the topic of forgiveness did not come out the way that I'd hoped, but tonight's a new night. And, Moose and I were coming again with gratitude, humility, appreciation for those who are joining tonight and those who tune in later, subscribe. Um, the idea, though, came out about tossing out ideas, kind of brainstorming together. Collectively, I've observed there's a lot of information being revealed, being put together. There's a lot of great people who see some incredible patterns. Speaking of, we've got a guest here already. 6079 Smith W is as he goes by. Hey, welcome, brother. Yes. We've got a lot of people seeing signs, seeing patterns, making discoveries, and bringing connections to light. I don't know if anyone heard that, but there is a chirping that we'll experience tonight. Amateur here hour, but this is my life and my situation. I got a smoke detector that's wanting attention. Sorry for the interruption. We're coming together here at a great time. Those of us, especially those of you, us who are joining together, subscribers and those paying attention to what's been going on here, we're part of something pretty cool. And hey, Smith, we've had our disagreements here on this platform. You and I have had our words earlier today, but also offline just previously. I think we're good. You feeling good tonight?
I'm good.
Good. You're welcome here. And I appreciate, you know, you've at least been paying attention. Sometimes you've been critical, but you've been paying attention and it is appreciated. Um, what are your ideas? Do you have ideas on what we could do?
To actually have less division. That's it. That's it.
How do we
I think part of
accomplish
that.
that?
I think
Sorry
part
to
of that
interrupt.
would be to have a smaller panel. No, I'm sorry to interrupt. There's a slight lag, and just to have a smaller panel and to just let people express their ideas. It's your show, Jack. You run it the way that you want to. Moose is producing it. Nothing against Moose. You guys do a great show. Just have it flow a little. However you do it. I don't think it should be dominated by one person or the other or anything. I think you do good work. I think your heart's in the right place. And I think that's it. You got to be consistent with however you're doing what you're doing. So if one person's talking over you and that upsets you, treat every person that same way. But if one person interrupts you and you put them backstage and then you bring them back 5 seconds later, then do that to the other person. But then otherwise, it'll grow some animosity or whatever. I appreciate what you're doing. Good job getting some truth out there, enlightening people and whatnot. I got nothing, man.
Thank you.
I got nothing.
Well, how about beyond thank you, by the way. Um, I'm working to improve my consistency. But at the same time, I've been quite open, Moose and I were both growing. Everyone's been kind of growing and developing into these roles. Um, and people are challenging. I mean, where when you the what you brought up is that people need to overcome the divisions, right? And I was asking, well, how do we? And you brought up some good points for what we can do here to bring out less disagreements here on this channel, this platform, that's for sure. But What about the greater scope? How do we convince people that they want to end their fighting, to end their disagreements, when they've convinced themselves that they don't want to stop disagreeing?
No, I agree. I think men are lovers of themselves these days, and it's evident. I mean, I've encountered this same experience everywhere I go. And I'm not saying you, I'm not saying from you, I'm saying from other people everywhere. If the person has over 300 subscribers on YouTube, they don't want to hear what I have to say. Am I, when I get on anybody's live stream, am I saying like and subscribe my channel? Hell no. I rarely will mention my name. I don't care. All glory to the Most High. That's it. That's what I point out. But to hear Freedom Grower the other day tell me that Christians are the Antichrist, and then I don't have a chance to say anything back to that was a bit much. That was a bit much. That guy could not be more wrong, as he's living in his mom's house because he's a divorced fool who
Here,
knows
hold
nothing.
on.
I'm sorry for saying that.
It's okay. It's all right. I did want to interrupt you to let's discuss that topic, all right? Um here's here's where I see, okay? So love self in a multitude of ways. Amen. Um here's where I see us agreeing, right? There's a lot of signs and patterns, and I think the case could be made that this is the time of revelation, that this is the time that was prophesied, right? Well,
Sure seems like it.
so if all that's true, there's probably a reason we're all coming together, and it's a more divine reason than maybe we've understood, right? So maybe what your role is a confirmation that, guys, the signs are here, it is time. The signs that you see maybe aren't as important as that message. Is that possible? Well, you know
Possibly.
what? Regardless, something to consider if you'll accept it as a possibility. But beyond that, man, I've been saying this for a while and as clearly as I can. I believe this live without fear. It's intended for us all, and I'm just a messenger of it. And I'm Moose Moose and I are welcoming those who want to help this grow, this being whatever it is it evolves into. Freedom Forgiver. Amen. Welcome, brother. I believe that's who I think it is. Chuck in Tennessee. Holy cows. Praise be. May God guide you guys on your endeavors. Remember, I stood up for Jack's military pay. May not always agree, but will support. Praise be. Chuck in Tennessee, you will always be our first official donation. Hey, thank you, brother. Thank you for your support. And Chuck, I remember that. I remember you standing up for the facts that you agreed with me on, that you saw as well. So you're not ignored and overlooked, and you are appreciated. Thank you, brother. Um, sorry to do that, Dick. Timing, but welcome, brother.
Cheers, cheers. Great to see y'all. How's your afternoon going?
Better than expected. Um, you know what, Dick? I always hope for the best, and I try not to expect too much. Does that make sense? So,
Yeah, they say expect the best and prepare for the worst.
well, yes, and then learn to adapt and receive the challenges and the disappointments as they come. Um, today was
I
an
just wanted
interesting.
to take an opportunity to start the show off by being forgiving and forgive 6079 for blaspheming my name and making false allegations against me.
No, you literally said though yesterday that Christians were the Antichrist, so that's okay if you forgive me, but you said that. It's all good. I'm not trying to fight with you, bro.
Wow. So we must have had like a Mandela effect. Your synapses must have been firing differently, and you remember something that I don't remember doing. Maybe I'm having early onset dementia or something,
I
or
must have to go back and
Alzheimer's,
look at the clip.
or
I'm
maybe
not
it's
going to
just
argue.
some wild thing where I can't remember anything anymore. So you're saying
Well,
I said that you're an Antichrist because you take the label as Christian?
I'm pretty sure it was you yesterday in the chat, and I'm not trying to argue with you, bro.
Pretty
That
sure.
said,
Pretty
well,
sure. Maybe
Christians are
want to
the
dot my I's,
Antichrist, and
cross my T's. Yeah,
is
maybe want to make sure before I say something
hey,
about someone if it's absolutely sure, not be
well,
pretty sure.
Dick, is that something that could come from you that Christians today could represent the Antichrist? I mean, I could make that case,
Well,
but
a Christian would be to follow Christ. I mean, Christ,
right?
the archetype, the character, the deity, the idol, as some people I think look at the Christed being from a doctrinal standpoint of modern religions, Christianity. Yeah, I think it can be a stumbling block. However, I've never characterized it as the Antichrist. The only thing I did with 6079 is he called somebody else out in the chat and said, "Hey, prove it to me that the Bible is an allegory." And so I graciously took my time to point out Galatians 4:20, which clearly states that Abraham and Sarah is an allegory, which would also allow you to draw lines or make connect the dots that would mean other things in the Bible must be an allegory as well if Abraham and Sarah are an allegory, which is a fictional story.
I wonder sometimes if we don't have as many disagreements as we think. Okay? I mean, I think maybe there may have been a misunderstanding, different perspectives, and chat sometimes easy to read things out of context. Hey, easy to read things out of context is a great way to great tip for those who read the Bible. It's real easy to take things and twist it and take it out of context to make it seem like you're right. Tommy, welcome, brother.
Hello.
Here, your volume's real low. I'm gonna bring that
Yeah,
up.
I've made a name for myself like that. It's usually the difference between am I holding the phone like with the bottom of it near my mouth or am I sitting back from the tripod? So that varies and it needs dealt with live.
All right. Well, we're good now. Hey, welcome, brother.
Hi.
We kind of interrupted a discussion between Smith and Freedom, but the idea of Christianity, and I don't mean to delay you. Did you come in with an idea or something, Tommy?
Well, I think you're quite sure the way my morning or day has gone, I'm not married to completed conversations in any way. I think you would agree with that.
Hey, Tommy,
I think
let's not.
everybody on this panel knows that I am nowhere obligated or privileged to completed statements or conversations.
Hey, Tommy, you're welcome here, but let's keep the complaints to a minimum if we can.
Maybe I like it. How do
I
you
know
read
you
complaint?
do. I know there's many
So am
people
I
who love to
complaining or do I
complain,
like it?
man.
I
Huh?
think you're misinterpreting. Or what was it you
Hey,
said about the Bible? Are you just spelling me out the way you want to read it? Because you're
no,
telling me I'm
no,
complaining
Tommy.
about getting
Hey,
what I love.
Tom, no accusation, no. All I'm suggesting is tonight, right? Saturday night salad toss. I want to toss some ideas around instead of arguments and disagreements. Okay?
Who
Good idea,
are they
Jack.
messing with you, Jack? Like, say Saturday night salad toss again, because that means a different thing in the circles I've seen that mean a thing.
Hey, if
I
Jack wants
know.
his salad toss, that's his choice. It's
Well,
nobody's business.
I mean, salad toss is making a vegetable medley, but when we add in the SATURDAY, Night. SATURDAY. No, it's like that implies a more exciting type of salad toss. So we're gimmicks now. That's where you're going, Jack. We're taking it into the
No,
morning radio
we're
gimmicks.
Tom. We are having. Hey, we are having
That was
fun.
good.
We are
It's
having.
actually pretty amateur hour if you don't have. Let me hear
Well,
it, Moose.
you know
Come
what?
on.
Actually, that's a good point.
Fuck off.
Now that one could catch.
That's yours, is it not, Jack?
I don't think it is, but inspired by myself,
Yeah.
maybe through the crafts, through the artistry of Paul.
We've definitely heard you scream that expletive.
Yes, I know. And actually, the back to the
Nothing to be
title.
ashamed of. It's just a word.
The
Just a volume.
who is that?
Now that right there was mean heresy. That was mean blasphemy. Like, good job,
Yeah.
producer. You're just doing all the things. You're doing all the things that
Well,
the
hey,
memes and internet does.
You don't think Moose is doing a good job, huh?
I don't know.
well, we're learning. We're
There you
learning.
go. That's
Hey,
how that
there you
works.
go.
He learned that from his daddy. Like, we just saw out. What was
Yes,
that? 45 minutes of that I
Tom,
just sat through.
Tommy. Hey, yes, this is Moose's and my show. We are working
Right, but
together. Okay, so
Dick asked
chill
me
out.
if I
Chill
don't.
out.
Dick asked me if I don't think he's doing a good job. I don't think he's doing a job.
Of
Like,
Moose
the
Oh,
and
good or
Lemon.
okay,
bad
right,
has nothing to
right,
do with
right.
it. I don't think
Well,
he's
but
doing
here,
a job.
Wait a
right.
minute. So if the guy shows up to McDonald's for minimum wage and delivers you an ice cream, he's not working?
That's a job. That's a job. Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
Well, Moose is showing up and he's doing his function. I would
Right. He's
characterize that
doing
as,
what any
and he's
good solo person already does for themselves.
right,
Yeah.
right,
and he's
right.
doing it to Jack's satisfaction. And unless anyone else is paying Moose, maybe, like FBI operative agents or something like that. But I mean,
Is someone
you
paying
never
him?
know.
Hey, guys, holy cows. There's, yes, there is things growing here. Moose and I were having, that's part of our agreement. We're going to have fun doing this with the intentions of it growing into something big. And for those who are just tuning in or new to this, make sure and subscribe and share with those who you think might enjoy
Okay,
conversation.
so can I conjoin those two things you just said? Like, anyone that already knows us, Jack, or is aware of us, will not be something big because the people that travel us are the same people. And
Well,
there's the give or
Tom,
takes. There, like, whenever you make the circle and the
I'm just here to
overlapping
have
circles of
conversation.
groups, huh?
I mean,
right.
is Christianity not a good topic? Because I was
Yes.
excited to get into that with
Yeah, we can get on
6079,
that.
but
We can get
we
on
Yeah.
could
that.
do that a different time too.
I can
mean,
tell
whatever.
any
It
channel
is
why
what
you're
it is,
not
boy.
going anywhere, and you should be
Dick,
happy to be a
thank
public
you.
Zoom call.
Dick, hey, Tom, here's the deal. What you're ignoring is while you and others have been allowed with graciousness, with me and with Paul and maybe several others, you can fully
Oh, was
expect
that
that
graciousness
when
you saw?
that's
Is this graciousness?
you can, hey, well, my finger is right over the remove button for you.
Right,
Tommy,
that's tyrannical.
I,
That's
I
tyrannical
just came up
graciousness.
here to say that if you can't fit in, you can't have a decent conversation over here. We're giving you the opportunity. We haven't really slapped you around a few times.
Oh, thank you,
We're
Lord and
being
Savior
very
Moose.
nice to you.
And how am I being not nice? I'm not
You're
loud.
just
I'm asking.
Tommy. We don't need the Energizer and Bunny up here. This is supposed to be a dialogue between gentlemen. Maybe there'll be a lady up here later. But this isn't a dialogue when it comes to you. It's a fucking monologue about stupid shit that has nothing to do with this channel or the people in the crowd or anything factual. All right. So just have a good
Hey,
day, Tommy, and let's move on to our broadcast,
Moose,
folks. Thank you.
bless you. Thank you, brother. Golly geez, man. And Tom, I see you're still in the back. So I'm going to leave the option up to Moose, but just what he said. You know, you don't see the kindness that others show, and you just take for granted that what you think is more important than the time of everybody else. So, Dick, thank you as well. I mean, and
Yeah,
Smith
you
for your
bet.
patience. The topic of Christianity and some of the conceptions, and maybe what might be real, what we know is not. Those are the things I'd love to talk about. Because
Yeah, there's a lot I
honestly,
can't say for sure. I mean,
oh,
the historicity of the Christ character, did he actually exist or not? I can't say with certainty. And there is suspect arrangements to me with the whole KJV, Council of Nicaea, Constantine, having like the politicians and the governmental characters of that time, or at least the overlords, oversee that process. I don't think they're the best people for that oversight. Uh, in any case, though, I think it's a lot of sacred texts that extend out even beyond the Bible. I mean, the Bible itself does reference like the Book of Jasher and Book of Enoch and other outside references. So, to me, that also could be correlated that it's not just tied to those 66 books that might be a little bit limiting in your mindset of what's available. But I think the Christ story, as Paul has characterized it, and I think you have as well, Jack. I mean, we're all living something that we relate to in regards to that, and that's why it's such a profound storyline. Is so many people who read those words end up coming away from it uh, feeling they have direction in their life, or a better understanding of who they are and what the purpose of their life is. And so that's why I think when he says he's the way, the life, and the truth, he's pointing to that mindset, like he offers in John, where he says, you know, I pray to the Father that you would have this mindset that I have, and you would know I and the Father are one. There's no separation there, but that you and I are one, and so that we're connected in a divine purpose. And so that was never lost or forsaken. It was just our perspective that lost sight of the truth that we're children of the Most High. And Christ brought us back to that truth. Now, that understanding to take us out of our enslaved mindset required becoming a master, because we wouldn't accept any other approval of us. We needed that validation from a master to set us free, because we were slaves in our minds. And when the master set us free, he said, I'm no longer your master. I don't call you servant. We're now friends. Because the goal was not to leave us in some kind of state of servitude where we needed to follow the leader and we would have to have him guide us out in every single step. It was to do greater things and to utilize the same faith that was in him that's within us to shape and carve this realm with our intentions. That's just my view on it. And I'm always open to hear other people's perspectives and ways they can add or maybe even take away if I'm wrong in something, but just to give the quick 2 cents on how I view the scriptures. And I'd love to hear anybody else's opinions or insights into that.
um, brother, that was so well spoken, so well said, as far as the way I feel as well. Um, the religions have the written word, the text, it's confused everybody and made people think they had to go to the religions. I here what you said, was the man Yeshua Hamashiach, Jesus the Christ, was he real? Um, fuck, I don't know. I
Could
don't
have been
know if
many
he's real.
incarnations, right? I mean, that could have developed over many storylines that culminated together and created, a need to have that in the culture, because people have told these stories, back to Sumerian culture. I mean, if we could go back further than that, I'm sure we'd find it still within previous civilizations. I think that's about as far back as we can really, know for certain that those same stories were being told.
Would you
What do you
like the masonry outlook as 33rd degree mason level shit about that? I mean, read a screen name, people.
Yeah, I would just say one more thing that I forgot to mention was, what is the mindset that Christ was speaking of? It was freedom, freedom indeed, joy unspeakable, peace that passes understanding, and that confidence and knowingness that you're not of this world. You're in it, but what you carry with you is greater than this world and can overcome anything, any trial, any fiery tribulation you face. So that having that mindset, if you got equipped with that, then you walked away, whether you call yourself a Christian or not, or believer or not, you got the gem. You got what Christ was offering. And I think a lot of Christians who characterize themselves with that terminology are really missing that point.
Can I just add this real quick and I'll be quiet? Someone else can jump in. I just want it for the Christians that are out there, or someone who's a Bible believer or a Christ believer, and you're listening to this, we're not supposed to end with prayer, but rise to action. So our freedom isn't just because we believe in God and that's it. You're supposed to stand up to the evil of the world.
Well said.
There's a lot of evil going on.
Brothers, this is making my fucking heart sing. Dick, the way you presented those words are so true. Now, me, I didn't want to accept those words were true. Okay? I did not want to accept that miracles could exist. I was a confused man, but I am telling you, the words, the way you presented it, Dick, is the fucking truth. What was the message of Christ? Love. Love one another. And it's scary to humble yourself to love. It's scary to humble yourself to forgiveness. It's scary to humble yourself to the fact that we are the ones who are here to confront the darkness. Just what you were saying, Smith. That's my purpose with this Live Without Fear. This is what I've been saying, is it's time for us citizens to come together. Citizens, humans, people, children of God, whatever you want to call it. I think it's time for us to come together to expose the darkness, end the corruption of our governments, our militaries, our prisons, our fucking economic slave system.
But you can't argue with a mechanic if you don't know how a car works.
But that's just it. We
Well,
do know.
you want to go to the UN and talk to the UN. The UN just declared, and not to bring any Freudian attack on me. The
Hey, Tommy,
UN,
rather than complain about my
listen,
idea, the topic of
listen,
today
no,
is
you need to know this
let's
before you're
toss
standing
out
before
some
those people.
ideas. Toss
The
out some
UN
solutions
just
instead of
declared
complaints,
that
Tommy, or I'm going to kick
minors
you
can
again.
consent to sex with adults.
Let
I'm
me just
trying to
throw this
word
out
that
there real
correctly.
quick. I've been quiet. Let me throw this out there again. I said it 5 days ago. It's a pandemic. Now look up who Pan was the god of. That's the
Oh,
agenda.
I told you on Paul's
Uh,
stream that I'm
agenda.
on top of what you're talking about. I see you eye to eye, Smith. My
What
whole
are you
thing with
doing
you
about
was,
it, Tom? Seems to me you're interrupting discussions about solutions.
I can't hear you over the gimmick.
It seems to me you're interrupting discussions about solutions again, Tom.
No, there is no solution, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
Is
then,
Jesus,
yep, negative Nancy's can go away. I got no use for that.
I was just going to ask you what we should do about that problem, sir, but I'll let you continue.
Thank you, brother. And thank you for allowing Tom the extra chance to return and participate. I thought we were having, well, maybe it's because I was speaking, but I thought I was having fun with the conversations. Because I actually think this shit is pretty important. It's time for us to choose who are we going to serve, right? Each day. And you know what? Here's the thing. Humans overcomplicate everything. If you can accept that truth, then accept that you're human. Right? And that means you're probably overcomplicating that which is. I keep promoting that guy, John St. Julian. He did another very inspiring presentation recently about how the dark forces, very logically, the dark forces, here's what he presented. If I can clumsily try and share his thoughts, was we've all evolved through time and space together, right? And grown into what we are collectively. But there's many who have been taught all sorts of crazy shit about God. Many have given up the idea, right? Or like me, spend a lifetime not even really giving it any thought. So what he presented makes sense, that we are like divine beings with free will, and there's energies and forces beyond what we see. And so if we deny the light of God within our lives, it would make sense that the dark forces would plant ideas into our head, whether it's intentional humans using fucking technology planting ideas into people's heads, or whether it's actual spiritual and supernatural stuff happening. If people aren't pure in heart, they'll believe their ideas are their own, and then we end up with people like Bill Gates and Elon Musk and God knows the
Yeah.
name of the government.
Crazy, wild idea, because everybody talks about this Mandela effect, Jack, and I'm not trying to take you off on a rabbit trail, but when you talk about the self-assembling nanotech and this technology they got up in the humans, imagine if that's like reprogramming thoughts or messing. That's actually like experimentation, and that's why people are misremembering things. Is it's actually augmenting their thought process, causing them to perceive it differently than they would have otherwise. Was kind of connecting those dots the other day that maybe there was a connection. That's too bad he left. I wanted to ask him, what did he want to say as because I know Christians usually would like to give some kind of testimony or a defense for their faith, and I wasn't trying to just like run a train over him or anything. I really wanted to have an open dialogue and hear where he was coming from. I don't know really anything about where the guy was coming from. Perhaps I just spoke too much, huh? Maybe I've had too much tea. I apologize.
Hey, I'm having fun. These are the Saturday night conversations I enjoy, man.
So I was asked by the room to read John 12:24 through 26 in the King James version of the Bible. It says, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. He that loveth his life shall lose it. He that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal. If any man serve me, let him follow me, and where I am, there shall also my servant be. If any man serve me, him will my Father honor." All right. So I read that for
Precisely.
you guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, precisely. You don't want to just bury your treasure. You got to plant your seeds in the ground, and it's not about material possession or holding on to this life. It's about preparing for the kingdom to come, right? Because the truth is, there comes supposedly from a prophecy of the good book 1,000 years of peace. So how are we going to get there? We're not flying to Mars. We're not taking a Elon Musk. What was that fucking thing he took out there, Jack? The
Oh, yeah,
Tesla
SpaceX, whatever.
Roadster. You're not going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
take a Roadster to heaven. So if we're setting it up here, it's not about possessions. It's about stewardship. So it's about how you do things. Are you interconnected with the sustainable creator design, which is right in front of us that we can observe if we're just patient enough to actually be still and look? Or are we going to sit here and, loop all day and act like there isn't any solutions out there? The Most High placed them all for us, even our dis-ease, all of the detoxifying herbs, plant medicines, naturopathic, homeopathic type of modalities that we can pursue to get well. Creator put it all there for us. It's just sitting there waiting. And so it's our stewardship that's going to really bring us to know the realm again and get right, get balanced, and then be able to bring harmony back to God's design.
Yes, brother. I'm trying to follow along. You're You speak
I think
beautifully.
I'm just repeating the word, God's word, right? I'm just
You are. I mean,
recounting what the Bible says. I don't think I've said anything that's not directly from the
no,
good book.
you're a beautiful messenger, man. And
I'm subpar.
I fought disbelief a long time, but I've been saying, and I think people have been seeing me grow here online. My faith, man,
Yeah,
my faith is
definitely.
growing. And honestly, Dick, I think these ideas, these are inspired by the good book. I mean, I'm a man who's set my goal to become more like Jesus in this lifetime. And I've been studying God, learning how to surrender and have faith. And so far, no miracles really. I mean, I can claim that there's been miracles, but
Yeah.
um, nothing spectacular.
Well, and 6079 touched on an important thing. The only thing that I really did hear from him is like, if you're serving the master, if you're serving Christ and you want to characterize yourself as doing that, uh, you know, that allegiance is to a mindset, right? It's to a message. It's not to a deity, a plastic Jesus on a cross bleeding out, for your sins, looking all maimed and deprived and beaten down and pissed on and shit on. We're not worshiping some idea in our mind of who someone is and how they went about doing what they did. We're worshiping, if anything, because I really run cross grain to that word, to be honest with you. Worship always reminds me of worship, and I've heard people say it that way, so I kind of think of that every time I say it. But you're showing reverence to the truth, which is that mindset of humility that the Christ had being carried, and you're attempting to fill those shoes, and you're leaning on the Spirit to give you the capacity and the ability to do what you couldn't do otherwise. So a lot of it's happening based off faith.
Hey, amen. That's what I caught from that scripture that was suggested. And thank you for the chat, for the participation. That scripture that was shared was the Spirit would be there for us, and that's what it is. The Spirit of Christ, the pure divine, Christed being is within us. But to surrender yourself to that possibility, that perfection exists within you, that the connection to the divine is real, it's pretty humbling to the conditioned human mind, to this conditioned materialistic ego, because it's a complete friggin' inversion of what the world has taught us to believe, at least me. And I think I'm pretty ordinary. But hey, the point I was trying to get at, I think my goals are in line with prophecy. We end secrets throughout the nations, and then truth, God's truth, whatever is real, that guides our choices, not budgets.
I mean, I'm nodding yes, but that is one place I disagree with you. I don't see that as possible, and I don't even know if it's in the grand design of the creator's intention. But I shouldn't interrupt you.
No,
It's
hey,
your purpose,
your doubts are valid. I mean, here's where I'm at. To find peace, to find peace within me, I had to accept that the impossible was possible. My life gave me plenty of evidence to believe that things are not what they seem. And not in any supernatural fashion, but just
The
it's been a
order of things you're saying, right?
thank you. Beautiful. It's just been a perfect progression in my path, right? I'm a shop steward. I'm a labor guy. I'm a man who documents, knows how to create evidence to present a case. Well, God's been using me the past few years documenting evidence of my case, my life, which brings me to the confident explanations of God, which are all in line, Dick, with what you share and with what is true within the Bible. It's also supported by science, logic, and reasoning. Because here's what we got to know: to live like the Christed being, you must have faith. Well, what are you going to have faith in? The only thing you can know is you. And you can only have faith or fear right now. So you just got to break the patterns of conditioning, of bouncing your mind from the past to the future, right? That's the way we're taught. This was explained in that message earlier. And seriously, John St. Julian, if I imagined a man like Jesus present in grace and explanations, this John St. Julian is he's a good example, far greater example than I am.
I'll look him up. It sounds like we got a distinguished guest down
yes.
here, or looks like.
Yes,
Look,
please. And I
sounds.
meant no disrespect with the delay. Welcome, Scott. God bless you, brother.
I don't feel distinguishable at all. But how you doing, fellas?
Howdy, sir.
Good evening. Good
Doing
evening.
good. Hey,
So,
Scott.
yep. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to
I
bring
was
you
just
to
saying,
speed. I don't know if you saw the beginning. The topic tonight, Saturday night salad toss, came out of last
toss
night's
that.
conversations and chaos, right? But tonight, the idea is rather than tossing around disagreements, we're going to toss around ideas and
Do you remember
fun.
where that toss and salad came from?
I think
You need to
I
find
think
the
I
original
said,
clip.
yeah.
The original clip is a guy on an HBO special where they did prison scenes, and there was a guy in prison that talked about another guy, and he goes, "Yeah, when they come in, that's what you do. If you get it and you get some jelly and you put it up there and you put it up there, button, and that new guy he got to
Yes.
come in and
Stop,
toss
please.
your salad."
Scott. Yes, please. Thank you.
I had to. You guys are talking about it, so and that is the troll
Yes,
and Polly. That
there
is the
are
troll and
crude,
Polly.
there are crude connotations with it. But
Hey, let
But the
me
word
guess. Moose came up with that title for tonight.
no, it came out of last night. I said something
Did it?
about let me
Okay.
toss some ideas out there, and Paulie quickly responded something about
it was
tossing
tossing
salad.
word salad, tossing word salad.
Ah,
That's
okay,
right.
So
okay.
Tossing word.
so
That's right.
Up
That's
in
what it
these
so
streets, we're gonna have to have like verbal judo competitions. The way people like to, run these words. It's like a big old
I'm not as quick as I was once. I'm just not.
yeah.
I,
But
I disagree.
As good as you always were too.
yeah,
Hey, I
I'm a,
disagree. I've seen some timing between you and Paul, man. Just had me. Paul on his own, but Scott's pretty quick too. And Dick, you guys are great,
I
man.
haven't heard them dialogue a bunch of times, but I caught one the other day, a broadcast while I was just working around the house and I was listening in the background. It was a blast. Yeah, you guys had a good chemistry going. It was awesome.
Mhm.
he's an interesting character, and Paul, I have a lot of respect for him. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We'd get in a room though, and the two of us would suck all the air out of it. Fucking be gone. It'd be like everybody go, "What is this fucking carbon?" Uh, I
I
feel it.
remember.
But no, Paulie, I was just watching him with Chili DeCastro. There was a good show he just was on there.
I caught some of
And they
that
ran
too.
one. Well, not bad. I was gonna say, you guys are talking about the Bible and bringing things up and how people believe in Christ and how close you are. I have some really interesting shit that's happened in life. But you know the name Edgar Casey?
Sure.
Yeah.
Edgar Casey that's just fucking a crazy story. I mean, the most prolific psychic in history. I mean, like literally, what is it, 14,000 cases that they've documented? I mean, he had him a stenographer transcribing the shit as it happened. All
Hey,
right. And then
Scott.
The huh? Go
Sorry.
ahead.
I know you could probably go on and on about Edgar Casey and the topic, but that's one of the things that really opened my eyes to the spiritual is the fact that there are people today claiming to channel messages from angels, from divine beings, and all sorts of, with the blessings of our communication ability, right? We can learn about what a lot more people are doing. And there is a spiritual connection that each of us have. And that Edgar Casey, that I remember learning about him and many others. You know, the CIA was using people, was studying the
That's what I was
method.
gonna. That was what I was gonna
Is
lean
that where you're
into. If
going?
I could have, yeah, I was
Please.
gonna just leave my
Hey, sorry, Scott, go ahead.
my there's something a lot more than what we know, and they're trying to dumb us up because if we figure it out, then well, they don't have us. They don't have an edge over us. But my mother's parents, they were brutally murdered, unfortunately. But almost immediately after this, one of my mom's cousins worked for a psychic, Greta Hines. Okay, well, Greta Hines was famous for going and talking to the FBI and the police and literally being able to just go into the scenario and tell people what they needed to do to solve the crime. Just go look her up. But they got my mom on the phone within a few days of the murders. And she was talking to Greta, and Greta was in her late 70s, early 80s, and already, basically, I guess, just a step before hospice when this happened. And one of my cousins,
A magnificent pair of bananas.
fuck is that? One of my great my great cousin, my mom's first cousin, so it'd be my second cousin, whose friend worked for Greta, was her caregiver, is the one that put her on the phone. And Greta evidently got really violently ill when this happened, when she was going through the brutal murders of my grandparents. She was there living it, and the things that she disclosed to my mother that we knew within 2 or 3 days. Now, of course, we didn't fucking know whether or not to believe what she said over the phone or not. But 2.5 years later, we're in the middle of a trial and this stuff comes out. And it's like, how in the hell did this happen? How? How? Just explain to me how. And then
Well,
I can go on with the where, what, why, and who and shit. But that how is the craziest fucking question.
you're muted, Dick.
Are you getting that in his audio too, where it's kind of like did it did it?
I think so. I
Is
think
that an
so. A little
FBI
bit.
thing, sir?
Yeah, probably. No, I got a fan on the background. I don't know if that's making the noise.
There you go. It's probably the
Hey,
fan.
I don't
Does
think you were
does
here
that
for
clear it up?
the
Yeah,
beginning of the
fuck, man. I'm a
show,
big fat guy. I
Dick.
need a fan.
Jack,
Stand with
for
all this
everybody at home, I
equipment
need you to
here.
explain the the smoke alarm that keeps going off for everybody.
Oh, yes, yes. For those who have tuned in late or joined late, please forgive. Life is happening around me. I've got a smoke detector that on a tall ceiling that I've not figured out how to reach yet. So we got a smoke detector in the background that's creating an interruption.
Good. I thought that was one of my concubines tied up at the barn. So
Oh,
glad
just
we
me.
got that cleared up.
Just
All right.
me.
So now that you guys know what the smoke alarm going off in the back is not me, now we can move on. But first, I want to say thank you to Chuck. You popped Jack's cherry. You gave him his first super chat on this channel. That can never be taken away. That's the first super chat Jack has ever gotten, and we thank you for that. And we appreciate your contribution. Jack, take it away, brother.
Hey, thanks, brother. Um, so Scott, if we can change the topic just a little bit, kind of back where we were, the Christed way
For
is
for
just
real,
learning
go
how
ahead.
to
Go in the
be.
direction. Yeah.
Well, the idea is
Look, say it one more
all
time.
we can. Where I was going is what I've been focusing on and learning with the Christed way is just learning how to have faith in being, just being now. Because right now, today, that's all we've really got. today and what might come our way in the future. So I really do think if it's not me, it will be us. And I do believe this is the time that the technologies are going to be released, that the secrets, the whistleblowers are going to come out. These are the intentions I'm pushing for, right? And I think, and I encourage anyone who might actually listen, and you have a position where things are not as they should be. It's time for the whistleblowers to come out. Time for employees to stand up for what's morally right, and that includes our military and our law enforcement. They're employees, right? I think we can change this world very quickly when God allows it. When God allows it, we will.
I got a lot I could say on this, but I haven't heard from Scott your perspective on this. So if you wouldn't mind telling us where you're
The
coming
world's
from.
fixing to tip over. It's fixing to tip over. The polls have stopped, so we don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to shift? There's some crazy stuff going on. If you ask me, rivers drying up. There's some potentially biblical stuff, but when they talk about global warming, I tend to wonder why other planets are warming up too. Is it a solar maximum? Is this something that that we just have to face? It's a reality. Um, I hate scare tactics, but the thing about Christ, the second coming, the thing about belief in one another. I mean, don't put yourself too far out into the future because you need to concentrate on here and now. Yeah, preparing for the future. I don't think there's anything wrong with preppers. The powers that be, the people that run this shit show, have been building dumbs, deep underground military bases for years. So, I mean, if you think that anybody who's buried a corn silo or something like that's an idiot, you're probably the one that's not thinking clearly. They're thinking ahead,
Agreed.
but do I think somebody, is should just go out and start trying to do that, think they should run from it. If you haven't thought in that direction now, you should take a lot of time to plan, think, do what you're going to do. Not that you have a lot of time. I don't know. I don't have anybody's clock on my wrist, or watch. I try not to think about time that way. But where I was going with the whole my grandparents, the stuff that's happened and whatnot is we just have to be careful. I mean, my grandmother was that Christed being almost, even though she wasn't. She wouldn't accept that. She was at church. She had a couple children that died in horrific ways. When she died at the end of a guy's knife that was trying to have his way with her. He came up against a 74-year-old farm woman who she stood her ground, and it was unbelievable. But even he said at her last breath, she was praying the act of contrition. Oh my God, I'm heartily sorry for having offended thee. And I'm saying forgiving this guy. So, in all honesty, we have to realize that we're facing this a little bit wrong because before that happened to both my grandparents, because they were both on the end of the same guy's knife, I had my biggest fear in life was being stabbed. I mean, it just was. And now you couldn't scare me with a knife if you paid me. And people talk about guns. I'm like, Jesus, the gun didn't kill anybody. It never kills anybody. The guns just don't kill anybody. They lay there, they're peaceful, they're quiet, and they're there in case you need them. But if anybody wants to take away the guns and say that's the problem, I think they're missing the point because you can get run over with a car, you can get dropped out of a plane, you can get fed to an alligator. It's just fucking thrown in front of a train. So this is bullshit. And what it is we have a government body that just keeps.
Scott,
yeah.
You've said a lot, and I'm trying to understand where it was going, but you mentioned something about the pole shifts, and I don't know what people do or don't know. I've been paying it. There is science today saying the magnetic poles are shifting. The planets within our solar system, they're experiencing changes. And there's many explanations, but energetically, physically, universally, this is a unique time for humans and human history. And Scott, I'm like you. I don't know what the future is going to bring. I'm no Edgar Casey. I don't have anything to prophesize anything in the future, but you know what? Between the changes that are the maneuvers being made in the economic structures, the global economic systems, they're working to devalue the American dollar. Everyone's just going along blindly every fucking day, like, whoa, well, someone someday will do something. It's us. We're the ones everyone's waiting for.
You may be right, but you may be crazy. But it
I'm
just may
crazy.
be a lunatic they're looking for.
Hey,
Billy Joel lyrics.
well, there's been plenty of confirmations for me along my path that have given me confidence, to do this channel, the trademark, what I'm saying today. There's plenty of evidence that's brought me to this. It's humbling to consider, but I really do think God is with us with this. Well, there's no denying God is. God is. We are. We are experiencing time with God as gods with limited knowledge, limited awareness, limited powers. But we've been brainwashed into believing in limits and not potentials.
The thing that we do is we focus on inadequacies, not in and of ourselves but in others. I mean, if you're looking at what somebody's not got, then you're not paying attention to their potential. A good lesson to learn is something my father told me when I was really young, because I was quick to dismiss people just for stupid reasons. And this is before I was even 10, 11, 12 years old. Oh, I don't like the kid down the street. I don't like his marbles. He doesn't have any good marbles. My dad thought, just the way it was. My dad thought things through a lot. I learned that in later years. And I think, I don't know if it was you I told the other night, but, I realized after years that my dad, because I always saw him in front of me helping other people, I didn't realize all the times he was behind me pushing me and I was learning. But, the thing that he said about other people is you're going to initially find people that just rub you the wrong way. And that may be true to a lot of extent about that person. But if you do yourself a favor, and he said, check inward, do
Good
yourself a
advice.
favor and try and find something about them that reminds you of someone else, someone you already like or you already appreciate. And then try and go with that and give them a good chance. Give them a fair chance, because even the most difficult person to get along with might have the most to offer.
Scott, I love that you said that. That was a great tip. For those who were listening, I hope you caught that too. That was a great tip. We are going to run into people who just rub us wrong. They create a trigger or reaction within us. You may call it karma, but um, if you can recognize that, yeah, there's going to be people you don't get along with. Your suggestion, Scott, was beautiful. And that's great advice, man. Congratulations on receiving that advice. Um, if you can do an association of them in a good way, the
Can,
the
can I
reason,
expand on that a little bit?
please.
Let's look at it in the legal sense. Polly and them over there, they talk about the freedom aspect of things. Um, are you a man? Okay. Are you Jack Talcott? Well, that's a name. So are you a name?
So they say, yeah.
Yes,
Are you a
yes, I
name?
am Jack Talcott.
You're Jack Talcott. So you're a name?
I'm Tack
Are you a
Jalcott.
name?
That's right.
Talcott. So there. But my point is, you can't be a name. Are you a United States citizen?
So they say, but and
Okay.
there's
Nope.
records to support it. But
Are you Canadian?
no,
Freedom fighter, are you Canadian?
No.
Okay, where are you about at? Where do you live? What part of the country?
On the state of Colorado.
no.
Okay, my point is if I asked you, are you a person, what would you say?
Well, I've looked up the definition of person before. I mean, if you looked at it in this dictionary right here, I would say yes, I'm a person because it ties in the land. It says I'm basically a man of the land. But
Okay, are you human?
not
Are
according
you
to all
human?
definitions. If you went into like Black's Law Dictionary or some of these other iterations, it gets pretty hairy and dicey. It starts tying me into corporate shit and turns me into some kind of fucking slave. Because that's the thing is words are spells, right? So it's all witches brew, and they're stirring it all up and creating all these different double and triple meanings, and there's
Latin.
layers
They're
to
using
it.
a lot of Latin. The
It's just
legalese,
signpost, right? It's just signpost, but they can use that to create a whole algorithm, if you will, of potential in
well,
your mind.
if I say, are you a person, and you say yes, I would say, well, and when people say that you have multiple personality disorder, some people are just fucking nuts, okay? But you have a person, okay, and you have several persons, okay, and let me explain, because you have personalities. Okay, you're an actor. All remember what did Shakespeare say? All the world is a play, and all the world is stage, and we are merely players. So in essence,
Yeah, I
you're
look
a
at it
real
more
nice.
as the citizenship. There's only one core, there's only one foundation. I have a citizenship I could
There
use,
you
but
go.
it's not me.
You're
So
not a citizen. There you go.
I have characters I can take on, but they're not fundamentally me, but there's parts of myself that fundamentally are my values, which are rooted in the conscience that sears me, that I look at as a gift from the Most High. That's kind of the divine aspect of self. And that
Holly
does
point.
become something you embody, but is it who you are? I guess it's only if it's in your actions, because what is faith without works? You either do this
It's
shit or
in
you
your
don't.
convictions. It's what your convictions tell you because you live by your own convictions. So when you understand that you have your convictions, well, you stand on your convictions, and nobody can move you off of them unless they find true fault in them. So if you're a
True.
good person,
Well,
go ahead, Jack. Excuse me.
go ahead. Well, the where I was. Sorry for the interruption. Where my mind was going was back to the now, because you're absolutely right. We've got to have our convictions clear. What do we stand for? But since we can't control the environment or the people that come into our day, we've got to be able to stand in our convictions and allow ourselves to adapt, right? Not every battle has to be fought. Not
There
every,
you go. There you go. Good. In a word, let it be. in a word, let it be. Okay. Now, what I mean is, Paulie's going to add a lot to your broadcast if you want to keep him there. If you feel like he's detriment, then you change your scope. He's going to benefit because he's using this as a parody for his play. Okay. So he's having a give and take in a play. But I think that truly, because he's not a liar, I don't see him as a liar. Okay. So coming forward straight at you, telling you what he does, and then fucking with you on the backside, and he's forever going to talk. But it comes from a genuine place. It comes from a guy that would show up. Now, who are your friends, Jack? Who are your
right,
friends? I'll
right
give you an
now,
example of your friends.
it's
Hold on.
moose.
The people who will show up when everybody else walks out. That's your true
Yeah.
friends. All right. And Paulie has that, to me, he has that general type of character to him. Okay. That's the kind of guy,
Hey,
go ahead.
I'm I'm sorry to interrupt, Scott. Right now, to answer your question, right now, unfortunately, the only one who is there is Moose. So, you know, there's been a lot of hate towards Moose recently because of his association with me, and And I tell you
Everybody should
what,
have love for everybody, and that sucks that there
man,
is hate because Moose, you're doing a good thing and taking the rib and taking the bullshit. Even I handed you a little bullshit. Producer's supposed to be seen, not heard. You know how much bullshit I took on the back end of a soundboard over the years. Holy
I,
Christ! Not only that, people get mad at you, fucking pissed, pissed, pissed.
I
So
relate with Moose because there has been plenty of points in my life, whether rightfully so or wrongfully so, that I've been counted out and I've had people kind of wipe their hands of me or underestimate me or think that the ideas in my mind. And I relate with you on this level as well, Jack, because and I'm not even like saying I want you to succeed. And I hate to say that because it's your broadcast, but there's just certain things about what you're doing that rub me the wrong way. And I've said that. I'll try not to keep saying it over and over again. But long story short, it's like uh, Moose and you have this kind of thing that I've dealt with in my life where I've had to find it inside of me, the fire, and learn to kindle that fire and build it up and get it to burn. And when others are trying to blow it out and just get rid of it, be the one to nurture it. And that to me is loving self. And when you get your own supply, you're getting high on your own supply, you got your own fuel, and you've been there, done that, and been down that path, you realize when you see others and they're not giving up, you know they're going to succeed, on some level. At something you're going to
yeah.
succeed at, Jack, because you've got perseverance. You've got, a discipline to that at minimum. No one could take that away from you. And then same with Moose, he's and Moose has that confidence. He knows what's in him. He sees it. He doesn't need anyone to validate him or give him that final conclusion on who he is and what he is. And I see that in you as well, Scott. I see that in Paul. I see that in a lot of the people that I admire in these different conversations. And then I probably see parts of myself that I don't admire, that I don't like, that are probably just reflections. I'm probably judging myself at many points. But it's
hey,
certainly been a fun process, these communications.
agreed, Dick. And much love to you. I'm seeing a lot of people growing, you know. I'm seeing myself grow, right? And in different ways. And Scott, I'm glad you brought up the topic you did. Again, I'm telling you, the same thing you see in Paulie, I'm pretty sure I see as well. Okay. And last night, I think it was last night, you guys were talking, and somehow the concept of Shark Tank came up. Mark Cuban. I
yeah.
want to I want to talk to Damon. I think that's his name, the black dude with the shaved head.
You just need to become him. Don't
You,
look to anybody to
Well,
be your
no,
answer. Stop
no,
looking
Scott,
for that's my
Scott,
point.
Scott, you're totally
Yeah.
missing the point. Last night you were painting the picture of taking something towards Shark Tank. I've got the trademark of live without fear. I've envisioned having conversations with that Damon guy because he's got all the connections in the manufacturing and distribution, clothing line, merchandising. Dude, I we could do so much with this if I could just, you know, connections and
Make it about
conversations.
sure, but make it about the message first. Get the message across. Get enough people following you that you can fill up a fucking stadium here, there, or elsewhere. And you won't need Damon. You won't need fucking Cuban. They'll come to you. Now, how do
Right.
you do that? I mean, there's a number of ways, but the one thing is don't put the cart before the horse. Paulie's pretty good about not talking about what he's going to do, but he has a mindset that he wants to do something, but he'll never admit it. It's not about the money. It's not about this. It's not. You know what? You don't come on and dedicate yourself and tell people you're a success unless you're trying to fucking make it somewhere. Okay,
Well,
so
Scott,
go ahead. Yep.
I've said it to Paul directly. I've seen self-sabotage in his efforts. Um, and it's a normal thing that people do, but here's the thing. I keep saying, pretty sure God is with us all. Here, God is with us. Truth is on our side. Wars and corrupt governments are unacceptable. I say, what do we want? Do we want to continue with the ways of the past, or do we want to inspire and create something new? I decided within myself I wanted to inspire and change. 6079 Smith W. God bless you, brother. The $2 donation. Thank you. Not only for joining today, but the generosity and the sign, visible sign of support. Thank you, brother. Sorry,
Well,
Scott.
tell him to jump up here if he wants to talk about Paul more. But the Paul's not the center of everything. Think
No,
to think to the wall about what you're talking about, and you're talking about doing good, being good, bringing
mhm,
people to the center where good is what people focus on. Okay. The natural instinct of people is to not trust one another. We've been
yep,
led away from trusting one another. And
yep,
therefore, you have a fucking reactionary society where the first fucking go to is going to be, I'm going to get him before he gets me.
right.
And
Well,
it's like,
that's the beastly pattern of the human that we need to outgrow and overcome. Self-control. Self-control, overcoming our emotional reactions, creating space between whatever so that we can think and we can reply, respond, do what we need to do. But the way our minds work, we are in a spiritual battle, and the battle is happening in our minds. Every moment of every day, we've got choices. What do we want to do? You want to feel good? Fucking be grateful. You want to be angry? Find something to complain about. Find a problem. Find something you don't like. It's easy to do. Fuck, it's everywhere.
well, speaking of anger, hold on. I mean, now I know you've got viewers and whatnot like that, and I'm not going to make any decisions for you, but it's you and I. I don't know if Dick took off or not. Do you have any else backstage?
It looked
Because,
like no one else backstage, and I think Dick's connection dropped. By the way, Freedom Grower, thank you for joining, and
well,
you're always welcome.
why don't you invite Paulie's got his guy, what's VGG's on there, City Slicker or something, and LIG, Aaron's on there with them. Invite him over here. Or do you want to go over there? Because stirring it up a little bit and restreaming your way or vice versa. My thought is that Paulie, and here, this is your, don't, if you want to hear this, I'll go forward. If not, take the topic where you want to go.
Let me hear you out. I mean, you planted a seed there of take this over there,
I
and
want to
that would
talk
be
to
something new. But
I want to talk to Paulie about what's going on with his. He just talked to DeCastro. He just had an interesting conversation, and Paulie leveled himself out. He became Paulie a real. Let me present myself. So he walked into that room where he felt like, okay, I'm with a peer, or I'm with I'm with someone that, I have to act right. And so he's capable of this. And I'm just going to say, all right, is there a happy medium we could find with Jack over here where Jack has an hour a week show with you where Paulie Enslaved comes over and Jack and Paulie have a let's do it right kind of show where you talk about the best way forward, maybe bring up the worst person you found in the last week for you or him, and you guys both try and help them. Okay. And you never, and you have to agree on the back end, maybe with the fucking moose over there typing in the fucking background between the two of you, personal messages that pop up saying, okay, don't take it there because you guys need to get along. This is about this other person. So, because, and I don't know if Paul would agree to
Scott,
this or not.
I I friggin' I if I understood you correctly, that's what I've been trying to plant the seeds with him, the seeds of thought, trying to get him to talk to me about. But he's so friggin' stubborn, man. I've
He,
yet our entire relationship is here, with the exception of I think maybe one email and maybe one message. Everything
he,
else is on YouTube. We haven't spoken. So
he's
God
using
bless.
something that you believe in. He's using something, as cannon fodder for his show and for his viewers, um, out of you, and that's your ability to believe in yourself, and you see yourself as the Christed being, and you see yourself as the chosen. And there's a lot of people out there that see that. I mean, we got 8 billion people on the planet there, and so if he thinks you're the only one that sees yourself that way, wrong. There's probably about
No,
30 million.
Scott,
So
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're absolutely right. To confirm what you said, just last week we had a gentleman on here presented the case as though he was the return of Jesus. And he's not the only one I've met. He's not the only one I've heard about. So there's a lot of, you know, people are receiving a lot of information in the world and about themselves. And I think there's some pretty amazing stories and messengers alive today. We're living at a pretty cool time.
I would agree, but at the same time, I think we're living at such a time. And hey, we're getting pulled up over here on Paulie's stream. So, Paulie, jump over here. This is the time for Paulie to jump in. He hasn't jumped in backstage. Um, I think we're living at a time where things are going awry. I mean, and they're going awry because as say, the masters have treated the slave fucking population so poorly that they don't even know anymore what the hell's going on. They're in a
Hey,
wow. How
Scott,
do you? Yeah,
sorry. Hold that thought, please. Um,
check for it.
Joe, I gotta recognize Joe Cool. Thank you, my brother. Another man who has shown support, encouragement, and attention, and goes on record as third super chat. Thank you, thank you. This is exciting. This is exciting. I mean, if anything, it's a milestone, and this is evidence of growth and evidence of effort and actions being shown before us. Great things are coming in the future. I did cut you off, Scott, but welcome back, Tommy.
Eh, I'd rather have a welcome exit for a change, but yes, welcome. Hello. I mean, Scott's obviously a little new to this compared to, like, I hear his assessment of what's going on. And Jack, you and I are both longtime veterans of this channel civil war. Like, we were with the unslaved crowd before we knew these channels existed that we now frequent. And I just want to get as close to brass tacks as I can with even my issues over there. There is honorable and there is response able, and we don't choose the definitions to those words. We can only act them. Like, they are
Right.
what they are, and you're either doing it or you're not. And for the Messiah of throwing those words around, all I can do is cite how he's not that. And I've been in
Hey,
these streets long
okay.
enough.
Well, Tom, tonight, please, again, encouragement. Hey, welcome, brother. Welcome, Paul.
How are you, Jack? I want to just congratulate you because I know you'd never be about the numbers and you'd never be about money because you want to end fiat. But I'm going to congratulate you on your monetization now. So, again, if you were grifting, I'd be upset, but you're obviously not. This is about the truth and love. And that's why Illuma Tommy is here, clearly.
Jack, are you Catcoin? He said you want to end fiat. Are you Catcoin, Jack?
No,
Oh, okay. Well, you just said you want to end fiat. I wondered if you went full crypto on us.
no, I have not. I think beyond the currency. I think to I think towards abundance and freedom and sharing of prosperity. It's one of the things I watched earlier today, man. We're at this time right now where AI is friggin' advancing. It's already been incorporated into our lives greatly with our social media, with our phones, our technology. AI is in the background, and there's shit happening. I mean, I saw the news. Was it New York City where they introduced the robot police dogs or some shit? This is really getting like futuristic nonsense. And oh, and like we're getting to the point, well, that's what I was watching earlier was something about the fourth industrial revolution, how the nanotechnology and all of this stuff, we're at an advancement of our civilization where we are, well, with the chemicals and shit in our foods, we are genetically altering that which God has created. So
They say we're eating a credit card worth of plastic every fucking month, every one of us.
Right, but that's
That's
not the same
bullshit.
as the transit. That's not the transition to crypto and blockchain cashlessness. It's not the same as a debit card with digital money. It's like the significance in that difference is where the tyranny will come from.
well, the tyranny will only occur as
Governing what we
long,
get to spend money on.
well, the tyranny only exists because people enable the oppression, enable the enforcement. So if we start coming together, hey, City Slicker, long time no see, man. And Homestead, welcome back. If we do come together with the stuff Paul is teaching, what I'm trying to share, what others are sharing about standing up for what is right and true for you and others, right? Right now, from now on, always just make a commitment to stand on truth. And your life should become more simple.
It's not going to get any more simple for anyone, Jack. The other night when someone was talking to you about the transition to cashless, you were talking about, yeah, it's time for people to wake up. It's time for people to see this stuff. Dude, this is in transit as we speak. You will not stop this transition to cashless. You can help determine the outcome, but it's already like the SEC versus Ripple is theater, specifically stall theater.
Right.
But
So
what's
let's,
happening with the transition, it is happening. This will
all
go
right.
down.
Well, Tom,
So that's going to be the ledger. That's going to be the ledger. There's no, I don't
Yes,
doubt
sir.
that at all.
And it's the private ledger because the original ledger of Ripple, that is the freedom money. That's
I've
the
been telling that
transparency.
people, for if anybody understands what's going on, the SWIFT system's gone. They're trying to move to CDBDC, and the government's having a lot of problems because the states are pushing back like fuck off.
Swift is still a thing, but yes, that's the difference I'm talking about is the Ripple invention of their ledger. That is the possible freedom workaround, but the private version that all governments are requesting, that's where you get your CBDC tyrannical program coin.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
'cause
now
they-
it's
And if
Okay,
Smith is listening, from the
Stop.
from whatever
Thank you, Jack.
magazine said get ready for
Are you-
a future coin, and the one that just came out today, I hate to go that road, but it was 33 years, like 33 days, 3 something. Yeah, it's all a bunch of threes between those two magazine covers.
Hey, give me just a minute, and I'll tell you. Hold on,
Scott, hold on.
Okay.
I know, but I'm sorry, Scott. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I asked Paul to come over here and hang out
Yeah.
with Jack. This is the first time I'm actually going to advocate for Paul speaking. Usually he does come in here, takes the air out of the room. This time he came in respectful. I think we should give him the
I was
floor.
coming to
See what he
segue
has to
right
say.
into him. That was my
Y'all
point.
won't be so
My
rude
point. So
either.
welcome, Paul.
Me too.
Hey,
Hey,
what's
Paul.
going on?
Welcome, Paul.
Welcome,
Jack.
brother.
Yeah, I just want to be clear. I didn't come in respectful at all. I just completely checked out to the inane conversation that was going on. So I just want to be clear. It was not that at all.
Hey,
Makes
fair enough,
sense.
brother. Thank you. I
And all I'd
understand.
ask
Nice
is, like,
interview on
Hey,
the
Tom,
Castro
would you
channel over
fucking
there.
wait? Golly geez. Please. Paul, I saw that you had your other show going. Obviously the timing was different, so thank you for popping back over after sharing yourself elsewhere. Welcome,
Jack,
brother.
you know that I'm not going to miss an outing with you. I mean, you're like my new best buddy on the metaverse somehow, some way. I don't know how it happened. But on some level, I guess it did.
It's surprising, isn't it? Life is surprising. This is the whole point I'm trying to get across, man. I wake up every day, I'm like, holy shit, this stuff's still continuing. I mean, I'm pretty happy, pretty grateful.
I mean, is any of this even really real?
I don't know. I have trouble believing it is.
I have
I
a
really
theory on
do.
Jack's.
Hey, what's up with that guy down there, Jack?
Yeah, fuck that guy over there in
That guy
that right
below you,
corner.
or what's his situation?
Fuck him.
I don't know, man. I'm
Oh,
kind
y'all
of,
had seen me. Y'all missed me. Jack,
you
I know
know,
you missed me. Oh, you cursed
what?
me out. Figure as shit one day. One day you
You
was.
know what? I do miss your pretty face and your yield. I love it when you yield with silence. It's so pleasant.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do. That's why I fight for fucking rights and freedoms all the time. I don't even got to go fight for it. I just go to the store and grab me some beer, and I say, "Hey, what'd you
Hey,
think
brother.
about that Bud Light commercial?"
Hey, Tommy.
yield
Hey,
God.
Tommy. Does this
Yeah.
look? Does this look kind of familiar? Where you might be in the next 10 or 20 years if you don't get your act together?
Oh, Tommy's 40 years
Yeah,
behind.
could you come on camera, Tom? Could we see you? Because it almost looks the same as well. Like you look
Fuck, he said, Paul said
Similar.
20. I said 40.
similar presentment, and I suspect similar lifestyle and outcome.
Oh, let me go put my teeth in. My bad. I didn't
Yeah, go put
realize
your teeth
I was
in,
on a
please.
fucking flat screen.
Yeah, this is this
Right?
is the business. This is
It's
broadcasting.
the appeal. Yeah, it's the appeal.
From the neck up.
I'd say the thing that looks familiar
Neck
is.
up or the neck down.
Hold on, I gotta change my title. I'd say the thing.
The only
that
thing you
looks
need to tell
familiar-
them,
All right. Okay.
right?
Were you saying something,
What do
Tom?
you live? Right here. I live
Yeah,
right here
it's
with my
actually
fucking
case in
teeth on.
point.
Why'd you
Paul.
worry about it?
Yeah, I didn't hear any
Somebody
of
can
it.
shut this fucking hiccup. Or
I
just
didn't hear
boot
any of
me.
it. I'm not hearing any of what you're saying.
He said, fucking hell. Bitch, I fucking, what, you
Hey,
from
You
the
like-
ghetto? I rap with,
Can you turn your mic up or something?
I'll turn mine down.
Well,
Fuck,
please.
I yield.
Much love, brother. Because
All right, thank you, Jack. That's all I gotta say, bro.
I love you. Welcome back. But please, tonight the idea was toss around some ideas, some good discussions. Paul, welcome, brother. I checked out for just a moment there too for
For obvious reason.
for obvious.
When would you like to check in, Jack?
Uh-oh.
Jack was getting fit.
I
Jack
think we're
getting
here.
fit.
I think we're here and now. And here and now. Well, what we do today, it'll affect what we get to do tomorrow. Hey, I think you brought some
Naturally.
interesting viewers over, Paul. I see
Yeah.
toilet bowl Earth down there.
Yeah, he's a pathetic hating slave, and I'm, he said I was smoking so much reefer that I became red. No, dumb slave. That's what happens when you go out into the light and the sun,
well,
right? You wouldn't know that because the last time I saw you, you had gray skin and dark circles around your eyes. What a surprise! It's not like I've never seen that before, Mr. Demonic Toilet Bowl Earth with a dead skull symbol.
Hey,
Tried to tell you.
oh, you know what I was just reminded of? But by myself is, hey, Moose,
Tell us.
our goal was to limit the panel, to keep some order.
Yeah, I can help with that
yield,
goal.
God, and let's please be respectful.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're right.
Hey,
You're right.
Yeah, you
Jack.
have to limit the panel specifically from the folks who are intellectually limited, right? That's where the limit. You find the limit right about there.
Hey, well, yeah, there is a balance, and I think even there's probably a fine balance of who you bring together, but it is what it is, and I'm grateful for people participating and for sharing the conversation and fellowship. And I didn't mean to bring up I saw Toilet Bowl Earth as such a critic of you earlier, and I was like, wow, man, what's up? And someone did a clip of him where my name was mentioned, and he was talking about biblical stuff. So, TBE, you're welcome to come up.
Yeah,
And
it's fascinating. The ones who always talk the most biblical shit are always the women abusing, alcohol using, confused, destroyed, yellow skinned with dark circles around the eyes, metaversal miscreants. So, again, these folks cling to their Bible because they're living in confusion.
Oh,
So the same Bible that could offer a extrication from your slavery actually becomes your slavery because you misinterpret every fucking word of it, because your self-talk is off, therefore your understanding is off, therefore your application is off, therefore your perspective and experience is twisted and jilted, right? So you might want to look at that.
Right? Called distraught.
okay.
That's what Paul just put out on the table.
Well, he's a very deeply disturbed young man, is what it is.
Well, here,
Or woman.
Paul, it's hold on just a sec, please. It's interesting you said that, Paul, because that was just the conversation that Freedom Grower and I and maybe Scott were having earlier.
That's where I was going, Jack. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
yeah, some of the missed teachings, and here when I said that too, there was an intention for this.
Some can say anything. Is
Well,
what Jack's getting to.
Hold on, please. Is that while bringing up Toilet Bowl Earth, while you are invited, and I see there's also another name in the back cage.
He's too cowardly, Jack Talcott, because they
I don't
talk all
want-
the Bible thumping, but they're like fleeing when none are pursuing, right? The righteous are bold as a lion. So if you really believed yet knew what the fuck you were talking about, you'd stand on it, and you don't. So you're a punk ass coward infidel.
Well,
it's that simple.
My point was,
I don't want Paul.
I don't want this to turn into chaos and negativity, okay? Because there's plenty of critics. We both got them.
Hey, I want to be like Paul. I want to be like Paul. Paul's like literally the fucking guy that I wish I could be with the quick fucking witty crap all the time. Now, some of it I come in and I go, oh no, he didn't. it's fucking hilarious. No, I don't blame you, Paul. But there is times where I would come in and I'd go, oh shit, Paul. I wish I had a fucking Paul remote, honestly, because there's a few times that I would go, all right, for the fucking sake of everybody, the best thing would be Moose is probably, if you guys have too much going on, not the right guy to have that button. So now, just for the moment, but going on, I want to ask Paul a quick question because they did some cool
Scott,
stuff.
I got to talk to you.
May I
about
ask
this.
him?
After this broadcast, we're gonna have some words, okay, Scott? Because obviously you don't know my talents, my abilities, and my record. I have crashed multiple streams. I continually come to the stream with nothing to present. I'm pretty much the best thing you got, and we're going to make it all the way with me. See, Scott, with you, I'm not sure we're going to make it all the way. We might get halfway through the race. We'll start sweating bullets. We might need a cup of coffee, maybe a cigarette.
The concession stand and the concession stand both.
I already went over this. Moose's art to what he does is he's completely incompetent. It's
the art of failure.
That's how he endears himself to the masses. He knows, like I know, the majority of masses are just like him, completely incompetent. So by embodying that, he is endeared to them, much like I chase most of them away with my obvious competence. Competence, right? So,
Wally, may I take this one?
Absolutely.
It's simple. Everybody's good for something, even if it's only to serve as a bad example.
Right.
The rim is real. The rim is real. Go ahead, if you may.
Oh no, yeah. Let me say something quickly. So, what do you guys think moving forward? What is it now? You know, it's almost fucking May already, right? So, in the rest of 2023, what are we gonna do here to actually enact a change? And so, we all know there's some nonsense going on, right? So, what are you gonna do, and what can we do collectively?
How about less
Did you
fucking
say
cupcakes? How about less
fuck? You said
cupcakes?
bitch, dude.
Because how can we never
Cupcake,
talk about any solution?
dude.
How can we
Cupcakes.
never talk about
I
any
see a
Hey,
bunch of
solution?
brown nosed
Snafu.
cupcakes.
Love a
up
buddy,
in here.
fuck a buddy.
You ain't in this fucking ride of mine today.
I
You
ain't
ain't
trying to be in
traveling
your ride of
today.
Hold
yours.
on,
In
You guys
You
just had a
sound
good,
like
Hey,
Blue
you had a
Tommy.
good question presented. Now
I
we're going off
actually,
the fucking
hey,
question.
Cage,
I'd like
Cage,
to. I'd like to
I
hear
agree with
a
you.
response.
I actually respect the question. I'm talking over you now, and I don't, your audio kind of sucks, but the question is valid, you know, something that whether you offer an answer here or anyone listening to, consider this yourself. It's already friggin' May. What are we going to do this year? Well,
Jack,
everyone's,
have you called the United Nations yet?
be a righteous you. Is that so hard? Is that shit so fucking hard in this world? Fuck.
Just pick up the phone and call.
Anyway,
Welcome
so
back,
is there
my
any
friend.
constructive?
Joe,
Is there any
uh,
constructive solutions in order to create? You know, to build some
Kind of.
sort
We're
of
trying to tell
something
Jack to pick up
for,
the phone and
for
call,
this
and you're
year or
trying to
not?
talk shit.
Because the
Jack,
time is
have
now.
you
The
picked up
time
the
is now. It's
phone
not
and
tomorrow.
called the
It's not
United
later.
Nations?
The time is
Just
now,
Cage, if
curious.
right?
Have you
you're,
picked up the phone and called
Paul,
them?
is the time not now or no? Or is it later on
Snafu.
when you
it
feel like
is
it?
now.
It's right now. That's
Snafu.
it.
I
Snafu
want to
right
know if
now.
Jack picked up the phone and called the United Nations yet. There's many
Snafu.
different departments,
Snafu.
many different people you can talk
Snafu.
to, many people
It's
that
not
won't
the
answer the
time
phone
right
during
now,
the weekdays.
Snafu.
Have you called and
Oh,
picked up the phone and called the United Nations? I've called them multiple times within the last month.
I'm tired of
we
hearing
all know
his
ain't
loop,
gonna happen, Snafu. Fucking just
and I'm going to take a break from the yield god as well. Hey, Cage, I threw my number in the private chat because I agree completely with what you're saying. The time is now. And you're asking, what are we going to do? Well, I've been pretty clear about my intentions, my goals, and what I'd like to do. I know that there's steps we can take in order to help make that happen, but I know I don't have to do this alone. I know that all of us, despite Snafu's allegations of cupcake being a bad thing, fuck you, Snafu. Cupcakes are delicious.
Hey, a
Yeah.
buddy of mine was in Star Trek. That was his character, Cupcake. I fucking love the guy, man. Come on. Cupcake's my fucking buddy. And
The
actually,
Borg.
if you know the real man behind the character, he would kick the shit out of three of us at once.
Well, that's many people. Many people can surprise you as far as their strength, their talent, and what they might accomplish, and that includes each of us. None of us know what's within us. None of us know what we could accomplish if we set our mind to it. And the only way we'll set our mind to something is if we believe it to be something we should. So
Well,
this
exactly,
world,
Jack. Whether you can think you can or cannot do something, you are correct, regardless.
it's a simple truth but that's very powerful. It absolutely is. Our minds, our thoughts, our words. Our words create the reality we experience because they become the thoughts programmed into our conscious and subconscious minds. And so the words truly are powerful. That's the scripture.
Exactly.
The word.
Exactly. This is why it's called spelling, Jack, right? Like there's
Yes.
something called the formative years of your life from when you're born until around age 7. This is when, like, think about it like a computer, right? That's when the operating system is written onto it with these. It's like a way of limitation through a speech. You know?
Well, and then through manipulation, it's pretty brilliant the way it's happened, but I give all credit to God. Okay? It's by the manipulation of the forces God created by God's will that all of this has evolved the way that it has. So I've humbled myself to the fact that our God is perfect beyond my knowing. And that
Maybe
means
you're
that
living in a dissolution. Maybe this is a test, and you're in a realm that's controlled by the opposite of God, which is also a part of God, which God created technically, right? Because like the devil or whatever, God created that. Right? God created everything apparently. So even the devil is like another part of God, and you're living in that fucking realm, bro. You're in the cage.
that's the easiest way to accept it, is that all light and dark is from the one. And we just get to define. We've got, here's what they've done to it. Okay, here's what our parents, society, and this world has done to us. By I mentioned it earlier, we hypnotize ourselves by going from the past to the future, right? The children are taught to memorize with the plan and of living in the future, that life starts after school, life starts after marriage, after a child. It's all bullshit. So life happens now.
It's all about the now, because the past is just synapses and different parts of the brain storing information. It really has no validity. It technically does not exist, but locally it does not exist, but non-locally it does exist in the Earth's magnetic field. And electromagnetics has a lot to do with this.
It
So
does.
pretty much the only thing that really matters is now. That's where it can actually shape the
Cage,
future,
amen.
regardless.
Amen. And here, when I started humbling myself to that, the fact that I don't need to carry around the weight of the past, and I don't need to carry around the weight of the world worrying about the future either. I just got to focus on now, right? And recognizing that right now is all that I have to be and all that I can know. Well, the only things that really affect me are the thoughts and my desires, right? So that's the whole point of the Buddhic philosophy, the Zen state, is to train yourself. The meditative practices are to break the habits of your mind's confusion and just live in a state of stillness. And with the stillness, we actually allow our minds to move beyond just our memories and our imaginations. We move into the realm of inspiration.
It's beyond being still. What I think being still, these Buddhists and these Hindus, or they preach, I think that's like a method of filtering the thoughts that are in your mind, because most thoughts are not your own unless you're consciously creating them, because
Cage,
you're immersed in this stuff. So really what it is, it's like a filtering system, but you have to take it a step further, right? Now you can actually manipulate reality if you wanted to, but you best do it in the right way if you understand this, or it's not going to work out well for anybody. Yeah,
Cage,
which everyone has to learn.
thank you. I love these conversations. These are the things I've been focusing my time and energy trying to understand. And what you just said, yes, through the thought, through power of will, we can manipulate. We can work with the forces of creation in order to affect the future we experience. And this knowledge has been fucking kept from the masses and used against the masses in dark, evil ways. You know what? But give it up to God. Praise be. It's been a test for humanity to see how far we can drift ourselves, how dark and ignorant we can become in order for us to rise again, to praise God in the heavens with the angels. And right now, right here is the heaven.
Well, these are all nice terms to use, right, Talcott? But
yeah. What are
really,
we going to do?
It all goes back to dogma, which also pretty much destroys things in its wake. Because people have different types of ideas and ideology, and that creates division, the dichotomy of
Holy moly, you've leveled up Talcosm, boss mode, quote, shit. I asked a question, Talcott, why'd you block me Nazi style? I said, why? When did you pick up the phone to call the UN and you booted me off?
I
It's just a
prefer,
simple
We're
question.
having a good.
China
Hold
style.
on, hold on. How come no one else is commenting on the conversation we're having? Why are we going on like all over the place?
Cage. Why are you sticking your nose up Talcott's butt like you're licking his taint? You
Whoa.
brown noser. You're brown. I'm being
Snafu.
real, Talcott. I'm being real, like
Snafu.
trying to
Hey,
construct,
Snafu.
Well, I don't know. I
constructive
think that
criticism,
I think
Talcott.
that line of thought and that comment actually says a lot more about you than it does of me. So it's a little bit odd, my friend. I
The
digress.
question for Snafu is, why are you triggered? Why does it bother you that someone else is showing me respect? Could it be after the patterns of disrespect you've offered me? Does that make you feel threatened like a little bitch? I've called you a little bitch before, Snafu. So come up.
There you go, Talcott. I like the uncut cake, Talcott.
Talcott
No,
uncensored.
Talcott, I'm trying to say, you want to call him, I'll call him with you, bro. We'll get on the phone, we'll three-way, we'll call the United Nations. Fucking let's get it done,
Snafu.
dude.
Hey, Snafu, in all seriousness, I've given up trying on my own, and I know how that sounds, but when I am open to receiving all efforts that anyone might offer, because I am serious. What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen if we got the attention of people in the Capitol and they shared 30 minutes for me to talk, and then I look like an asshole for failing.
Jack, I'll tell you what the worst that can happen is what you allow, because you're the creator of your own consciousness. Let me tell you this, right? Trust me, it's whatever you allow it to appear into your realm. You
Mr. Cage, what chapter in the Talcott audiobook are you on?
I don't even know who the fuck this guy is, to be honest. He looks like he
exactly. You're a cupcake, fucking brown nose, and fuck time.
You
You
can't
can't be critical with Talcott. You can't be critical.
Honestly,
I just want to remind you that Wim Hof says we should breathe and put cold water on our face.
That's true.
Splash cold water on your face.
Where is that?
Because he came in with the whole, hey, what are we going to do rap? And it just rapidly degenerated into, hey, nothing's real and whatever you allow is. So you got the answer already, right? Everyone keeps
I never
coming.
said that. I never said that.
I'm just saying everyone keeps coming here for what we're going to do. And then when they get here, they talk about everything they're not going to do.
Well, we were guiding it.
It's not about
way,
talking;
actually.
it's about doing. Actions speak louder than words.
Right. So, what exactly is the point of all this when you really get down to it?
Paul, here you're right. The point of our life is to create meaning and purpose for ourselves. The best way to do that is to find a purpose with meaning for others. I think ending wars.
Do you know? Enough of that. You know, you have to end the shit inside your own head.
Yeah, get him right the fuck out of here, because you're not just going to pipe up, you slave, and say end wars ain't going to happen. Not in Talcott's watch. That's one thing I know.
Hey, thank you.
He ran right away after saying that. I didn't like that. I wanted to hear a little more.
No, he got thrown the fuck out is what happened. I saw Talcott do the shift. When you see, I watch him, and he does the move, and you watch that shoulder come up, and you know someone's about to get hit. And then I just sit back and wait. The man's a marksman. He's an expert.
Paulie is the real producer. Paulie is the fucking expert.
I know.
Honestly, Paulie, that fucking would be if you produced Talcott's show and got rid of and brought the trolls and got rid of the trolls in the dark. It would be funny if you could play two roles. Oh my God. It would be almost priceless if you had two voices that you could
nobody ever offered me, much like the Moose never offered to come back into the fold when I let him back to be my producer. No one ever offered me to come on here and take control and, venerate Jack Talcott. I was never directly offered that opportunity. Other ones, yes, not the one to take control and make a good broadcast, because that's for the people. So I'll do anything for the people. You know that.
Hey, Paul. You and I need to talk, please. Seriously, sometime.
No, I won't talk to you privately, but if you want to talk, we'll do it here. I don't want to.
Damn it, man. Hey, Joe, cool. Hey, actually, you know what? in defense of Cage, actually, he's not talking Talcottianism. He's talking conceptual things that make
Say,
sense to me.
Cage is the coldest fuck up here today. Clearly, easily said. Fucking, you ain't got to be in defense of Cage. He's the only motherfucker on this square up here so far.
He got put in the back because of, well, what Paul pointed out. You know, I'm not gonna waste time having people complain and say why we cannot change the world. You think I haven't fucking heard that by now?
No. Before you cut me off, I was trying to say something, and you never fucking wanted to
Well,
listen.
please forgive my preemptive.
So what I was saying was, if you cannot resolve the inner conflict, how can you expect to see it in the external world? You know, it relates to the micro and the macrocosm.
You being a creator, shit. You know.
So what do you expect?
Right.
So
Right.
we can't sit here like children and expect something different if you can't look in the mirror and fucking tell yourself that. You know what I mean? Don't be a bitch.
That's real. That's real.
Hey, Cage,
Right. This is why I've said before, it's a holographic simulation. If you solve
It
your
is.
Of course,
That's what I've been telling everyone.
if you
Yeah.
solve your problems, you solve the world's problems, because the world is made up of cells.
Exactly.
Yes,
None of
yes.
us are there. None of us
Well,
are there.
here-
That's why we're not seeing
Yes.
it, man.
Cage,
That's it.
here, please, for the love of Pete, what you said, you know what? I suppose it triggered me because I got everyone wanting to offer me that advice, solve the conflicts. Have you guys, I know there's been times where I've raised my voice and profanities, but have you guys really not seen the fact or listened to the words I'm talking about living in the kingdom of heaven right now?
Yeah,
And
we
to
hear
be
them all
fair,
the
these
fucking
people-
time, Jack. Are you
these-
serious?
It's all
Yes,
allegorical.
we hear them
This is
all
all
the fucking time.
allegorical talk.
To be
It's all
fair, a lot of
allegorical
these
stuff.
people have a history of acting like bitches, Jack. So when you call them out on it, I mean, we all know what you mean. Just same thing when I say punk ass coward or infidel. Wasn't it's all the same idea? They get hung up on the words and not the understanding and energy behind
It's
it.
allegorical, exactly. It's not about the words. It's about the allegory behind the words, the meaning behind, behind the words, the actual.
That's like the
understanding.
Christ of being saying, Peter, why would you rebuke me in front of the world when you come to me privately as different way, right? Because you're a punk ass bitch.
I never
Go
heard
away
that,
from
but
me, I
that was
never knew
dope.
you. That's the same way as saying, go away from me, I never knew you. You're a coward. You're an infidel. You won't stand for what's true and what's right. You rebuke the Christed way, the walk in the way, and my good works and the faith. So what good are you to me or anyone else, including your fellow man and woman? You're not even your own ally, your own worst enemy.
Hey,
Yeah.
Paul, regarding the Christed way too, I explained myself poorly. What I was trying to say is I have resolved the conflicts within me. I have no problems. I have no need.
What? Don't get jumped on up here, bro. I just
Well,
got
I'm
up
not.
here. I
I'm
don't want
not.
to start
I'm
jumping
not.
on you
I'm not.
already.
Joe, I'm not. Nobody's jumping on me. But what what Paul was just saying, the Christed being is that which is within us, and it's available right now. And the thing is I am a man of peace. But for many years,
Have you looked in? Hold on, Talcott, Jack. Have you looked into what Christ really is, or what this Abrahamic religion, fictitious fucking archetype thing is actually
Yeah.
involved in? If you look into the deeper degrees of masonry, you understand what that is, right?
I know.
Wait. I'd like to hear, because I
hoodwinked,
think
my
you
friend.
guys have different interpretations. I'd like to hear
Well-
yours, and then I'd like to hear
But
Jack's.
it's about the intention. It's not all about the intention, though. That's the issue.
Let me ask
The
a
intention
question
only
real
goes so
quick.
far.
Hold on, don't divert. I'm sorry. You do what you want to do. I'm sorry.
The intention only goes so far.
I'm
Where's
sorry.
Right.
that?
It's called the Society of Builders. If you only had intention and had a blueprint and didn't actually put it into place, it's worthless. So
Exactly.
if you're talking,
There's still a blueprint.
you're talking
there.
Freemasonry,
So who's the architect?
there's a grand
Christ,
architect,
Christ.
and then there's. Go ahead. We just can't get anything out.
Well, you start looking at the building.
Doesn't matter where we go. And that's why I'm leaving
You're
soon, because I can't continue this day after day.
All
It
right,
just doesn't work.
Go right ahead, Paulie. I wanted to
No,
ask
Joe
something.
Cool says he wants to hear something. This guy goes into it, gives a fucking one-word answer. I'm going to take it deep, and no one will let me, as always. It doesn't matter what the fuck
this is when you
I've
wanna
looked
exit
into.
the
It really
conversation.
just doesn't.
You want to
Right?
exit
Go,
the
Paulie,
conversation?
go,
Doug's
Paulie.
not
Stuff
doing
like
shit
this,
anyway.
huh?
So,
It's a little
let's just get
suspect,
right
my
down to
friend.
it. Another failed
But-
metaversal square jack, right? It's not a circle jack; it's a square jack up here.
Well,
Here's
we
a
can
story of a man named
we can
Jack.
repair and we can move on and we can continue. I mean,
Wait. Well, let's do this.
Relax,
Then.
Paul, bro.
Let's do
You're
this.
good,
Cage,
Joe?
could you expound on your definition of what Christ is? Because I'm curious. Right, you started off with I think something along the lines of what Paul was explaining. If you look into masonry, then you'll get an idea of what it is. Can you expound on that? No one's going to come cut your throat or something later, are they?
If you look into a book called The Duncan Rituals of Freemasonry and many other Masonic texts,
I've
pretty
read a
much,
bunch of them.
yeah, it proves that the Christ and all these Abrahamic religions are pretty much the opposite of what they're trying to espouse to people, right?
In
Like
what way?
you see how pray could also be interpreted as an
Right.
E instead and be preyed upon.
Yeah.
Like you're being called to, right? Like what do they say in the Bible, right? They say the greatest trick the devil ever created was thinking it didn't exist, right? So it's completely infiltrated these religions, and it has people.
Are you talking about Christ and Christianity right now?
I'm talking about fucking Christianity, Judaism, and
What
Islam.
background
All
noise
of it.
am I making? Exactly.
All of it. I'm saying all the Abrahamic religions and all religions are all under an umbrella.
right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
That's been
here,
taking over and
can I
usurped
come
for a
in?
long time ago.
Yeah, what do you think?
I'd like to come in on this conversation because Cage, you presented it initially as though I needed to look into that. And yes, there's no disagreements. This is exactly what I've been saying.
But
No,
the
no,
issue
Cage,
is
hold on.
they're putting you into these archetypes, and that's how you control.
I'm not.
That's how you
not.
control people's consciousness through these
Right.
archetypes.
That
And
was the past, and we are the new. And I'm trying to bring us into the new. And let's talk about what we want.
Yeah, we always do that. Let's talk about.
It doesn't matter what you want. It matters what you can earn and what you can actually make happen in reality. In this physical reality.
It does matter what you want. It does matter what you want. That's
Yes.
the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that matters. The hard question is, what do I want? And so long as you're not affecting other people in a negative way, living by the golden rule, then anything is possible to those who believe. So what do you want? And then speak that into existence. That's it. That's the practice. He said, my understanding is Christ is the human imagination. That is our.
I like it. I like it.
That is our.
I was going to say,
hold
it does
on,
not
hold
matter.
on. Don't up
It
here
does not
and
matter.
interrupt them. Hold on.
Christ is the human imagination. That's our. That is the Christ within us. That is the eternal body of man. It never ends. It never begins. You can do anything within your imagination, and all those things are possible if you can get yourself to believe. That is the Christ in us.
All right, I like it. That's
from my belief.
Our creative belief. I like it. Can you bring dude back up? I didn't mean to be yelling at you guys.
Have you
I
guys
was
heard
gonna
about
say,
the now?
Before you cut me off, let me say it quickly. I was going to say it does not matter what you want. It matters what you need as an individual on your path of this, because it's all localized consciousness, but it's feeding off a substrate.
Who determines
You know
what is needed?
You yourself. You know
Well,
what you need.
Cage, right. And what I've decided is I don't need you disagreeing and
Oh,
lecturing.
be the fuck nice. That's exactly what you need. Be nice.
Is it, Joe?
It is. This is what makes men. He gives an argument.
Well,
you
Joe,
argue back.
hey, Joe, I know your opinion. You've repeated your opinion, and I've been respectful with you and your opinions.
Why wouldn't you be? That's what men are.
Right.
Was that a threat?
Well, you know, we can't
So-
silence black voices, but we can sure turn them down a bit so that they can't be heard. I'm just saying.
Well,
Go ahead, Zach.
Part of this, when you're telling me I don't know what I'm saying, when you're saying that I'm wrong about what I know is within me and what I have learned, you're not really showing me a lot of respect. And it's not
Bullshit,
just
Joe.
you, Joe.
That sounds insane. Anybody else think that is the most? Hold on, I'll drop my mic. That is the most insane shit I ever heard. If you don't agree with me, you're disrespectful.
No,
I
that's
told you
not
what
what
it
I
is. You can't
said.
accept it.
That's
Stop being
not
so
what I
fucking
said.
disrespectful.
That's
That makes no
not what I
sense.
said.
Run that one by me again, Jack.
What I was saying is that I'm constantly being accused of not knowing what I'm saying, of being wrong about the things that I say, just because people disagree or they lack faith. So people bring their disbeliefs and their opinions and their imagined problems to me,
Us.
and then
Absolutely.
and then I spend hours fucking just dealing with accusations and imaginations and trying to fit in my value where I can. Paul
Yeah,
I know
Paul
all about
knows.
clearly,
this, Jack. I know
Paul
all about
knows.
it.
You're
I'm
right.
constantly
Look
dealing
who's
with
standing
this.
over your head. You know, yeah.
Jack, you
Right.
got so
We all
much
go through
love
this
right
shit.
now. You
Oh
got
my
so much
gosh! Here we
love.
go with another idiot. Who's producing this? Please tell me this is of course is
Who
Michael
was
Cino
that?
because
Who was that? That
It's
was
true.
funny. That was funny. Who was that?
yeah, that's his trademark, Michael Cino Incorporated.
It is what it is, bro.
That was funny.
It's like a screeching halt
Hey,
effect.
Jack, all it is, in my opinion, all it is people challenge your shit. If someone challenges it too much, rather than improving your argument, you improve your volume, right? You get angry.
well, that's partially true, but the other part of this is I'm paying attention to the clock. I do care about the viewers' time. I do care about the other time, the
Well,
time of
Jack,
others on the
Jack,
panel.
may I please say
And when
something, my
people
friend?
just continue
Well, say it
going
when he's done.
on and not allowing me to speak on the channel that me and Moose are putting forward for me to shine on, yep, my voice comes up and that little remove button comes out kind of quick.
Yeah, my man.
And see now the thing also too is Jack's too like kind of humble in this moment to point to this, but his fucking time is valuable too. I know that's something nobody wants to accept. Something that I might have done from time to time is devalue Jack's life and time. No, his time's important too. He's not going to waste it here with a bunch of infidel slaves trying to question him on the way he's running this fucking train over here.
It sucks, but that's the
Yeah,
truth.
guys.
That's
Because
the truth, but
if
it
he
sucks.
would listen, I'd have told him Michael Cino as a producer, not the best idea in the world. But you know, that's not what we're here doing.
Hey,
So
Jack, as far as you throwing them motherfuckers out, when you're
The
doing
guy
it
put the
because they're
train
cutting you off, I'll be all behind you on that shit. I don't like it to kill a nigga idea, but if they keep talking over and you do it, I'm with that. Not that what I care matters.
Yeah, guys, let's start truthing and in secrets.
Well,
right.
Started truth.
Who is that woman, Jack? Can we get to know that woman a little bit? They know what. Forget about her.
Hey,
She's
has
probably
anybody sat on a fucking board? Has anybody sat on an actual board? Much less, has anybody been the CEO of a board?
I've
Yeah,
been
there's
in
no
leadership
way this
positions.
doesn't go bad. No way this doesn't
I
go
have a
bad.
feeling that
There's a book called
I
Robert Rules
I
of
like playing
Order.
chess. I know the white and the black checkerboard.
I have a
like
feeling
playing the
that
game.
Scott has been
Besides
the
that.
head of many.
Of a board somewhere.
Thank
Well-
you. That's good. That's good. Good stuff. Great timing, fellas.
Actually, the
As
Robert's
always.
rules. Hey, I'm a little rusty, but I was pretty versed in Robert's Rules of Order, and I understand the rules of procedure. And you know what? That's human stuff. All this rules and shit. We can figure out how to cooperate.
Agreed, right? We're men as old as we are. How the fuck we ain't figured it out now amazes me. When motherfuckers get up here and want an outpouring of emotion or want to fucking deflect on some shit that's obvious. I get that shit in my life with chicks, man. Damn, girl, that's fucked up makeup. No, the reason it was the store was out of. I don't want all that shit, man. You know that makeup fucked up.
Hey, there is
Look,
an guys.
Hold on, Talcott. I
Sure.
read the comments right now, and I said, "Who's a slave? You own 2 shirts." I think they're referring to our friend Paul here. But you know what? Even though me and Paul, I don't really know him too well, at least he stands for something. So I can, in my mind, he has some sort of respect. At least he stands for something.
Yes.
So I'm saying, you think the shirt the man wears make the man? Or you think his fucking face or his body make? No, it's the individual spirit. You know what I mean? It's a warrior spirit. Either
Does
way.
clothes make the man, a man make
That's
the clothes? That's the way I've heard it. Yeah,
yeah.
I think I agree with you there. Right.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of redundant, regardless. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So even I can see that. You know,
Meaning when you're the man, suddenly the clothes look incredible, but really it's your posture because you feel a certain way because you know a certain thing.
it doesn't fucking matter at all because
Hey, right. Guys, here, this is an interesting, this planted a seed of thought, this comment. And with all due respect to the others, Joe and Cage, Aaron, I think that's Dick, and I forgot who else is here. Kick everyone off panel but Paul and block the entire chat. That's basically your chance.
Wow, is that your perception of things, bro?
Well, that's an interesting ad. At first I took it as a suggestion, but now I'm seeing maybe it's an observation because that basically is the channel. Is I don't know. I do ignore the chat. I'm not sure where it was going, but you know what? We are at about the 2 hour mark, and that is kind of the goal that I've been trying to keep in the back of my mind. It is Saturday night as well. I am still single, and I haven't been out on the town in quite a while. The weather's finally starting to warm up. Feels like it might be.
We need karaoke night then over here at the Talcott.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
we need that producer. Yes, good stuff, sir. It's like every time I go to speak, people are just compelled to speak at that moment. It's really weird.
No way.
It's almost
no
like,
fucking way.
We really respect Paulie, but we also want to make sure we help to sabotage him. It's this weird dynamic. And everyone else watching, right? It's just very bizarre. It's like this love-hate thing you have with yourself. Okay? So, any thoughts, Talcott?
Actually, with all due respect, I'm gonna start popping people in the back.
Let them wrap it up. Let give them 30 seconds each.
You know what? Right. God bless. What were you saying, Moose? Just a few seconds for each, if you would.
Yeah,
start it
few
randomly.
seconds each. Start at the bottom. We'll start with Life is Good, our brother Aaron.
Hey, and if I can, for a topic, an idea of what can we do for 2023?
Yeah, well, it's still early.
What can you do to improve or something?
Even better, Jack. No, both were good, Jack.
Or
back
just
to what
your
Cage
thoughts.
said. Back to what Cage said, Jack. There you go.
Well, the question really is this real? And I mean that. And what the hell? It's like you have I have no idea where the words come from. I have no idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. I have no idea what's going to happen. I work off inspiration. You guys are part of that. I appreciate that. I appreciate the panel. I appreciate the platform. I appreciate the information. I appreciate being able to speak my mind at times. And I really feel like nobody has control over being themselves. So it's like, how can you fault somebody for being who they are at all? I mean, it's a good question because questions are the answer. Go ahead.
I was gonna try to keep you a little bit short, but also what you just said about allow people to be, that includes yourself. We can be pretty tough on ourselves sometimes, and take it out on each other. Aaron, thanks for joining.
I like it.
Okay. Peace, brother. And Cage, I threw you out. I threw you in the back after one word. I didn't know if you were done or not.
That guy needs to set some goals.
Well, I heard a friend there saying that you have control over nothing, which is perfect. This is exactly what they want you to think.
Ooh.
That's complete bullshit. You have control over pretty much everything, though. Very little is outside of your control in your little bubble of reality. So you must take self-accountability and use the proper tools that are within all of us and utilize them in a proper manner.
All right.
Unless you want to be
thanks, Cage.
A sheep.
Thank you for joining. And
the man has absolutely no understanding or application of anything he's talking about. But we'll continue on.
Any
Because
other
we're gonna
last
just
words?
control everything. Yeah, that sounds like really where we need to be. That hasn't gotten us any trouble.
Well,
Let's start with ourselves, fuck faces. Control yourself, your inner space, and what extends from that. When you can get that done, watch how everything else falls into place. Talking
partial
about
truth.
controlling everything through manifestation. Fucking
There's
tired of this nonsense.
Paul. There is partial truth to it. There is. There really is. It's the power of prayer,
Yeah,
and
and your imagination. So keep
it
going with your
starts.
imagination and not what you can
Well,
show. It's been
no,
working out
Paul.
really well for everyone. We're
Paul.
like into 7D
Right.
already. Have you been
Everyone's
watching the
imagine.
timeline?
Paul.
We're like 7D already at this point.
Well, Paul. Right.
We've
Everyone's
ascended so
imagination.
fucking
Paul,
high.
Jesus. I know you've been patient, but come on, man.
I know, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much I get interrupted and how patient I am with everyone's cycling and nonsense. It doesn't matter.
Well, this isn't a place for negativity. All
No,
right.
but he
Let's be
started
very
off with what we're
clear
gonna
about
do,
that.
and we never got down to that damn conversation like we never do. What's
Well,
everyone gonna do for
right. So let's
2023?
stop
That's what we said.
complaining. What are we gonna do? You know, actually, Paul, I was gonna have that conversation with you. Any final words from you others?
Yeah, I'd like to say that you are the creator and you are we.
Amen.
All right, easy.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Thank you for joining me, Joe.
I
Joining
just
us.
want to say thank you, Joe. I want to say a few things. I want to say thank you to Chuck in Tennessee for the first donation ever to Jack. There's a couple more donations. I'm not going to say thank you to everybody because I don't
Can
want
you
to leave
please
someone
use the
out.
proper nomenclature, which is cuck in Tennessee? That's the new nomenclature.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we'll do that next time. So, anyways, I just want to say thank you to everybody out there, and thank you, Paul, for coming over here again. You make things entertaining, and you help it become a more palatable experience for a broader audience, and we appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Freedom Grower, and Scott. You're awesome too. You know how to play with the jokes. You know how to roll with them, and I'm sure, given enough time, we can make some gold. All right, peace.
Peace out, brother.
I'll
Thanks,
see y'all
man.
later. Grow a lot of food for 2023 and yeah, be yourself, but work on yourself and do the right thing. Do the next right thing, as Paul likes to say, and have a great evening.
Thank you, brother. Freedom Grower there, Dick. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Scott?
Look at you two fellas up there. Look like twins. Wait, hold on. You know what? I have just a couple suggestions. I mean, if you're talking about sales of to what, where, why, when, and how, you got to answer a few questions before you can target your audience. But your audience is anybody. So if you guys you say, what are you doing for 2023? I would say if you want to do something, define a message. Live without fear. It's a good message. Okay. But define that message. Define what it really means if you can. Now, Paulie can help you because here's what Paulie has that you don't understand about him. He has a no bullshit filter. Okay. Like hardcore, no bullshit. Let it in. No, fuck off. And he's not going to stand up to authority and let them bullshit him. All right. Much less you. He's just calling you out and saying, if you're not going to be honest with yourself, how can I trust you to be honest with me? Period.
Right. Hey, Scott, I told you I see many of the same things you do. Final words?
The final words is I'd say that we're all in this for, I hope, the right reasons. I'm not here for you guys to be a part of it or anything. I am enjoying the interaction. You guys have everything you need without me. I'm sure. I love suggesting a few things and maybe I can help. With that said, you guys kind of love each other. This interaction's priceless. Let's see where it goes. I'm enjoying it. Peace, guys. Have a good night.
Peace. Thank you, brother. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Paul, God bless you.
Yes.
You doing all right?
Yes, it did. It did bless me. I think it blessed all of us with the consciousness and awareness to know right from wrong, and that's pretty much all we need. If we would really live from that space, it's a lot easier said than done in a world of lies and liars, many of them being ourselves at times. if I could throw myself in the mix, although I don't find myself really lying or manipulating anywhere anymore because I don't need to. The truth is my greatest power, right? It's not a weapon, they'll say, but it's the greatest power. So, radical authenticity, accountability, responsibility, even if that's on the little things, right? We're the little people, Jack, as they say. We're not essential. We're not important. Well, it's not what they call you. It's what you answer to, right? And how you respond. That's how you're going to be defined. So, to me, again, this is simple. It starts close to home. Live a simple life, live within your means, don't be in debt, co-create with the supernatural, stick to the principles, surrender the rest. You can't surrender the rest if you're worried about controlling everything. I'm not worried about controlling anything except me, my thoughts, emotions, and actions. So start small if you have to, right?
Hey, amen. Honestly, the thing that changed my life was an intentional focus of being grateful. Because when things got shitty, I had to figure out, get creative. What am I grateful for? And then eventually it became grateful for my mind, grateful for my heart, you know? And then it just eventually I surrendered to the fact that, holy shit, Paul, every day we wake up again. What the fuck are we going to do, man? Seriously. I I feel the urge. I feel you. I feel your frustration, Paul. I do. But the difference maybe is I fucking surrendered. I surrendered it. God's got it all under control. All we got to do, enjoy being you. And you know what? Compared to the stories you've been through, brother, I hope you enjoy being you today. And this nonsense of these people coming up and disrespecting you and me. Man, what are these people doing, brother? What are they doing, man? Fucking, you know what they're doing? Here, I'm sorry to keep going on. You know what they're doing? Giving us opportunities to demonstrate our patience, our forgiveness, and forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. That
Right,
type
and
of
the knowingness, right? Because it's not just a beingness thing; it's a knowingness. One who knows doesn't have to believe. Again, we go over belief is a choice. If you know on some level. How could anybody get me out of position if I know what I know and know what I don't know? Just by that position, I know what you know most likely and don't know, especially after I get the presentment. So this isn't so mysterious. Everybody thinks they could put a hat on and an outfit and be mysterious, right? And it just doesn't work with me. It's like within 20 minutes, as the man says, I've got you down as a personality archetype. I've seen it 1,000 times, and I'm a student of life. I'm a student of self. You're one self with me. It means you can't run from yourself. Don't bullshit me and don't bullshit yourself because it never goes well. Right. So when I get on here and I come from that space, I'm coming from that fatherly space of, listen, I see right through it. Let's not play games with each other. If you want to come on here and be a broadcaster and get to some fucking money or views or whatever else, just be clear on it. Then there's going to be what the fuck you do when you leave here, and you got to sit with that force,
Amen.
with that conscience. Right.
Amen.
So the
What
same way
the
Snoop
hell?
Dogg is there apparently now growing cornrows out of his head to feed the
What
world.
the
I
hell?
suppose he's going to feed the world whatever he's growing out of his head there. So that's a good
Holy
use, right? I suspect Snoop Dogg hasn't been using his head for a long time. So if we're going to use it to grow corn, that's a positive result. We could feed people with that. Okay, there he is. That's some of the stuff he's grown off the top of his head right there. That's some of the, and by the fruits or the vegetables, you will know them. So right
Right?
there, Snoop Dogg has shown he's more honorable and respectable than most of the slaves because he's had a change of heart. He's got a yellow velour jacket on, and he's growing corn out of his head to feed the population. Maybe himself, right? He's self-sustainable. If you could grow corn out of your head, you're self-sustainable.
Amen. That is true. I was in the back of my mind, it wandered to some of the stories of corruption I've heard from some of the celebrities. And I don't think he's involved with the real dark stuff, but who knows, man? These people, they sell themselves out for fame and glory. And I don't know. Snoop Dogg, though, he seems like a pretty cool dude. I'd like to meet him too.
Yeah, a lot of people are pretty cool, Talcott. That's how we get lukewarm, right? See,
Well,
let's do a little bit of thermodynamics here. If I'm burning hot with the passion, thank you, Moose, the passion of truth, and I get around a bunch of cool people, I'm gonna become lukewarm. And you know what happens according to Scripture when you become lukewarm? You get spit the fuck out.
Yeah,
is what how it kind of goes, right? You lose kind of all that blessings and grace and that protection and that inspiration is what it would seem to me. So I'm not interested in co-creating with cool people. I'm interested in co-creating with people who are burning hot with a passion for truth.
well, that's certainly me. I mean, seeing that in you is what drew me and kept me coming back. And there is something about you, energetically, or just your broadcast, your presence. It's addictive. There's something to you that it draws, and that's why, Paul, I've imagined ways that somehow we could figure a way to capture both of our talents. We've got different levels and different approaches, but the same goal, the same. Dude, I see your Christ at heart. I see your generosity and care. So we've got the same heart. You're an excellent man at presenting stories, right? The stories and imagination. It's like in touch. I can explain things, but I'm not real good at coming up with the stories to match what I'm trying to say. So I thought there'd be a way you and I could help each other. Well, I thought you could help me communicate.
All right. So this again, it's almost like we're looping like we do here often. The more that you live your information, this is why I say our learning is unlearning. You want to talk Tao and Zen Buddhism? Well, get the fuck out of all, as you say, your opinions and beliefs. Don't tell me about numbers. Don't tell me about this and that. You're postulating. This is conjecture, right? Get to a place where everything that you think, feel, and speak is in alignment. If it's not, if you're not living that counting number shit, and if you are living it, right, then again, we're back to get so familiar with the words and what they mean and the meaning they're meant to convey, right? The Tao says all words are fingers pointing at the moon. So we have to observe a reality. We have to get a mapping of reality that we can observe that is static and objective like the moon. Then it just becomes using, as the Tao says, the words like garden tools. The man of the Tao has no hindrance with words. He uses them like garden tools. He picks them up, uses them, and puts them down. So the more that your mapping is correct of your inner space and outer space, the more you have a good idea and it checks out everywhere, the more that you live simply on that, the more that when you describe, your words are pointing to an idea that is clear for everyone to see. Because that's all we're doing is painting a picture with our words. Right. And then when you're living that way, you start to feel confident in who and what you are. Because the more you speak, the more you know you're well received, the more you're confident in your livity, right? Your living and lifestyle. So you distracted me there, Jack. I thought you were having a heart attack live on camera. I was feeling something as well. It might have been a merge, though. I didn't know. It's hard to tell the difference sometimes. But yeah, the more that you're sort of confident in that, the more you're having a good time while you're doing this. So that's another key, right? Love what you do. You never really work. And if you love what you do, it's going to be clear coming off you that you love it and you're into the story you're telling, right? So you don't tell a story to go, hey, I'm going to tell a story for everyone else out there. Right. You tell a story because it feels good to you. So it feels good to everybody else, right? And that's where I think it works.
The other thing I was thinking is I can explain some of the things you say in different ways, right? Help translate, maybe slow it down, because you say a lot, and I know my mind is decent, and I have to. There's times, like I said, Paul, I think I'm paying attention, and then I re-listen and I hear it differently. I was like, "Fuck, I was totally off base." But I think we could do some great things. What you said about, let me get back on.
Can I just touch on that real quick for maybe other folks listening? So
Yeah.
what I found in my space of awareness is just like folks who flip through a book and then know what's in there. Like there's some folks they can kind of flip through the pages like pretty fast and then somehow take it in and they say, how do they do that? So there's a space of pure consciousness and awareness that almost taps into the subconscious that if you just get out of your own way and listen, right? Like just be, and then the listening happens. It's like just be and the breathing happens. You don't have to make it happen. If you have to try to listen, you're going to put yourself into what you're listening to. You're going to project onto it. So that's what I found. I don't try to listen anymore. Like that's hearing. They're trying to hear you. No, just be and get out of your way. And then the listening will happen like the breathing happens supernaturally, right? And then even if you didn't get every detail down, that thing in you, it's got it.
Oh,
right? You don't even know all the time when it's got it, but it's in there and it's holding on to it and it's doing something in there, right? Day to day. It's like planting seeds.
Amen. But most minds are in the habit of going back and forth. And so the key you said was be, right? And that is the key. If you can be in the moment, then you just flow. And if you're paying attention, well, as long as you're paying attention, you're not going to have as many mistakes. You're not going to have as many conflicts in theory. But these are important lessons, brother. And I didn't learn these things until, like I said, I was in my 40s. So please consider how blessed we are to have this gift of knowing that maybe others haven't yet received, right? And that's what we're doing. We're the vessels to share these messages and sharing the contradictions, right? People grew up their whole lives. I mean, God bless you, know many examples still voting for oppression and tyranny, but when we're presenting the truth of what we know, brother, God's been preparing us. I feel prepared. I feel strong. And I'm excited for the future about what we might be able to accomplish, Paul. Because we're just getting started, man. I know I am. So I want to wrap up.
Yeah, wrap it up, man. I got to start wrapping up too. It's out of hand.
Hey, you had a variety of energies and conversations today. Rest well, brother. I honor you. Honor yourself tonight, man.
Well, Jack, you know how I like to honor myself. Let's not get into it. It's a little bit something different than knee rubbing, all right? It's a little bit closer to home. That root chakra, right? I might descend. I know we're all ascending, but sometimes I go into a descension mode. I get right to that root chakra and this goes right from the knees, right up the kundalini, So that's what Jack taught me. Start rubbing the inner thighs and back of your knee and you start, getting into this climactic space. And next thing you know, shoots right up.
Good.
Yeah, life is good, right? Till the guilt and shame afterward, right? I still haven't figured out how to get through the guilt and shame right afterward, but I'm working on that. I'm in the now.
Wisdom is developing what to ignore. Make your life guilt-free. No, don't be in denial. Hey, I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Talcott. I'm going to get the hell out of here. Blessings of understanding to you and peace be upon you.
Amen, brother. I'm going to thank you. Hey, brothers and sisters, those who joined on the panel, in the chat, tuned in today, and maybe checking it out later. Thank you for sharing your time. Saturday night, it was salad toss, word toss, tossing some ideas around, and we did. I enjoyed the conversations tonight on consciousness, religion, faith, love, spirituality, and personal relations. So again, brothers and sisters, for those who do have subscribed, please share the knowledge with others. This live without fear. It's an important message and we're all here to share it. So please join in, subscribe, and join us again next time. As far as I know, we're still scheduled 5:30 each day, Pacific Standard Time. Thanks again. Choose love, peace for everyone, and God bless. Live without fear.